Councillor Westerland, in the absence of the Reeve, as Deputy Reeve, will you call the meeting to order?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I'll call the meeting to order. Excellent. And with that, I will ask for, I believe, swearing in of the Deputy Reeve as first order of business. I'm assuming with silent from my end that we are just preparing to swear the Deputy Reeve in.
Yeah, sorry, Kara, I didn't have my mic on.
Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, so I, Dallas Ekstrom, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute, according to the law, the office of Deputy Reeve for Brazeau County Council.
Do you swear that the contents of this your affidavit should be true and that this oath is binding on your conscience, so help you God?
I do. Thank you. Thank you. Very kind. All right, thank you, everyone. Good morning. In the absence of the Reeve, I will assume the chair. My name is Dallas Ekstrom, Deputy Reeve. I will just ask administration if they have any additions or deletions to the agenda this morning.
Good morning, Deputy Reeve and Council. We have a couple of additions. First of all, under general matters, Councillor Bolosky would like to talk about, I guess for want of a better term, gravel transportation master plan. And to be clear, this is not about gravel roads. This is about roads on which gravel is being hauled. So I would suggest that would be under 12B general matters. And an addition from Councillor Volk under 16D enclosed, and it would be council conduct under ATIA sections 26 and 30. And our recommendation is that as soon as it's possible for council that we deal with this closed matter first thing on the agenda, Deputy Reeve.
Okay, thank you. I'll just ask council if there are any other additions or deletions. Mr. Bolosky, go ahead.
I'll also add a 12C. Sorry, I forgot. The 12C for mine, I have a, sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Ratepayer letter that I was asked to read, and I think it will bring up some good discussion. So 12C as well.
12C general matters. All right. Anything else from council? Hearing none, seeing none. A motion, please. Councillor Gunderson, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I move to approve the agenda as amended for the July 21st, 2026 regular council meeting.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Councillor Westerland, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Okay, so at the advice of administration, I think what we will do is move item 16D, councillor conduct, to this point in time of the meeting. So I'd be asking for a motion just to adjust that. Go ahead, Councillor Gunderson.
Thank you, Chair. I move to go to 16D, council conduct. What was the ATI number on that?
That's ATIA sections 26 and 30.
ATI sections 26 and 30.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Councillor Westerland, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. That is carried. We'll go into closed session.
Thank you. Will someone be phoning me?
Pardon me? Oh, right. Right. Sorry.
Councillor Westerland, I will be phoning you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. I'll hang up now.
Okay, sorry, Kara. So we just, okay. Carol, will you go ahead and make that motion?
I move to go into closed session at 9:05.
And just cite that, yeah, if you would. Counselor Code of Conduct for section
Oh, sorry.
ITF.
Go into closed section for council code of contact ATI, section 26 and 30.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor? Carried. Counselor Westerland, are you there? We're gone. Okay, thank you. We're enclosed. All right, so we have everybody here. Go ahead, Counselor Harris.
I move that council come out of enclosed session at 9:59 a.m.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Counselor Westerland, are you there?
Correct, I am here. I vote in favor.
Thank you. Motion's carried. We'll take a 5-minute break and we'll be right back. All right, I'll call the meeting back to order. My name is Dallas Ekstrom, Deputy Reeve. We just came out of in-closed session. There will be no action, no motions coming out of that in-closed session until we complete the in-closed session, which will likely be perhaps this morning, perhaps not. But anyway, I'm going to turn the chair over to Reeve Guillaume for a public hearing at 10 o'clock.
We need a motion to go into public hearing for 1247-26. Ari?
I move that council enter public hearing for bylaw 1247-26 at 10:04.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay. All right, so we're in public hearing. You're leading the way, are you?
I will, thank
Okay.
you. Good morning, council. Rezoning application 26A-006, located on pages 198 through 212 of the agenda package, has been submitted to rezone the parcel referred to as Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 942-3297, within Northeast 33487, west of the 5th Meridian, which is 8.57 acres, from commercial to direct control. The purpose of the direct control zoning is to encourage the long-running business on this property to continue to operate unimpeded. The subject parcel is located south of Township Road 490, also known as Ring Road, and north of Highway 22. You can find that on land location map on page 200. The application was circulated for review and comments to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners. External comments were received from TELUS, Fortis Alberta, and ATCO Transmission, which identified that they had no concerns or objections. Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors confirmed that the proposed setbacks reflected in the bylaw are appropriate in consideration of the Alberta Transportation-owned lot immediately adjacent to the east. Internal comments were provided by Public Works and Community Services, which advised they had no concerns or requirements, and no letters of concern were received from adjacent landowners. Policy considerations were set out in the report to Council on June 16th and confirmed that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the county's municipal development plan, the intermunicipal development plan with the town of Drayton Valley, and our land use bylaw. It is the recommendation of administration that second and third readings be given to bylaw 1247-26, proposing that Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 942-3297 within Northeast 33487 west of the 5th Meridian be rezoned from commercial to direct control. Thank you.
Any questions, Councillor? Kara?
No questions.
From the gallery, is there any comments one way or the other? Anybody online? Okay, seeing none, we'll come out of public hearing. Carol? Oh, did you have a question?
I did.
Oh, okay, well then go ahead with your question, sorry.
Thank you, through the chair to administration. On this proposal, there's proposal A, and, there's parcel A and B, I believe, or B and C. I'm just curious, any further development or changes after this will have to do through an amendment to the bylaw as well, right? So, is that correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Vogt. There is identified cells A and B to distinguish the different uses within those lots.
Yes.
Any developments then would require council approval because it is direct control. So all applications then receive council approval.
In the future?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Any other questions? Then we need a motion to come out of public hearing then. Glenn?
Thank you. I move to come out of public hearing for bylaw 1247-26 at 10:08 a.m.
Discussion, all those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. What we need now is, the administration is looking for second and third reading. Arya?
I move that council give second reading to bylaw 1247-26, proposing Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 9423297 within Northeast 33487 west of the 5th Meridian, be rezoned from commercial to direct control.
What's that?
It's a good thumbs up.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, and administration is looking for third reading. Shane, go ahead.
I move the council give third reading to bylaw 1247-26, proposing Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 9423297 within Northeast 33487 west of the 5th, be rezoned from commercial to direct control as shown on the attached Schedule A.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, so that's carried unanimous. All right, so Dallas, what I don't know is where you left off. Did you, on the agenda?
All right, well, we left off right at the very beginning. What we did is took an enclosed session and moved it right to the top.
Okay,
So we came out of enclosed, and so we can begin right at the top of the agenda.
okay, so, you did the office of the deputy reeve?
I did the office of the deputy reeve, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, any urgent items? What's that? No, we came out. Okay, so no urgent items. Adoption of the minutes, June 16th. Dallas?
They were awesome, yeah, so I'll move to adopt the minutes of the June 16th meeting.
I haven't heard that expression on minutes before. All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
All right, follow-up action list. Rudy?
Good morning again, Reeve and Council. A couple of items coming forward today. First of all, we have the report from WSP Engineering following the request by Council to look at further alternatives for Moose Hill Bridge. They will be reporting online to Council later on in the agenda. And we have brought back Council communication policy to this meeting, and we will discuss that further at the appropriate time on the agenda.
Okay, a motion to accept the follow-up action plan as presented. Carol?
I move to accept the follow-up action item list as presented.
Discussion, all those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Carried unanimous. So I assume we're down to Council 1 policy update?
Thank you, Reeve. This is just a housekeeping item for Council's approval. As you will have noted, we've asked for some different timing with regard to your timesheets and reports to align with the new policies. And so the changes you will see to the Council 1 policy regarding remuneration are on page 25 of your agenda, and it would be under item 5. You see the payroll will now, instead of the 6th of the month, it's the 3rd, and payment on the 10th instead of the 15th. And that's to align with current updated provincial legislation. So that's the only amendment to this policy we're requesting today.
Carol?
I'm willing to make a motion I move to approve Council 1 policy as updated.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Council 3, communication policy.
Thank you, Reeve. We've, at the last meeting, requested that the Council 3 communications policy come back for discussion at the council meeting. That's been done. In doing the research on this communications policy and relating it to some of the discussion around the strategic plan, the strategic plan indicated that that they wanted to, council wanted to consider the communications policy in the context of acknowledging or examining their public participation. As we started to work in gathering information for this recommendation to council, we realized that the communications that council undertakes really fall under more than one policy. It's the communications policy, it's the public participation policy, and it's also the Council 5 policy that involves council going to other events to communicate county activities on behalf of the county. So as we pulled all those together and considered some of those conversations, it would be our recommendation that we defer this conversation to a subsequent meeting when we can bring the 3 policies together so that council can deliberate them collectively.
So you want to just defer this policy, then table it till?
Table it till the next meeting, and then we can bring all 3 policies to be discussed and adjudicated collectively. I think it's more efficient for council.
Okay, Glenn?
Sounds fine. I move to defer Council 3 communications policy to a subsequent meeting.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
All right, we've got another appointment here, Eagle Point Blue Rapids, pages 30 to 34. Sandra, take it away.
Just what you need. Is there a clicker? Is there a clicker here? Oh, I'll nod to you then, thanks. Awesome. Well, councillors, good morning. Thank you very much for allowing me to be at your meeting today. I come bearing the 2025 annual report from Eagle Point Blue Rapids Parks Council. It's something I like to do on an annual basis for council, just to bring you up to speed with where we have been in the last year. As some of you are new councillors coming into this first term, I just wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about how the Parks Council came to be and how these parks came to be. Essentially, the parks arose out of a land management issue. There was kind of disputes and conflicts that were arising from multiple users wanting to use similar land areas. And so it was agreed upon that Eagle Point and Blue Rapids would be formed through an order of council of the Alberta Legislature in 2007 to kind of end this dispute. And then in 2008, the Parks Council Board was formed. And Brazeau County and the town of Drayton Valley as municipalities were founding members in that development. So you have a long history with the Parks Council as well, and you have representation on that board, as does the town of Drayton Valley and Alberta Forestry and Parks, as well as numerous other board members, including all of the recreation clubs and the special interest groups, which include the adjacent landowners, oil and gas, sand and gravel, and the Drayton Valley Hospitality and Tourism Authority. So it's a huge board, but I think we do some very good work. I'm happy to acknowledge Councillor Ekstrom, as he is our director at this time from Brazeau County, and we're very pleased to have him. And I know we've had
some of the other councillors in the past, Councillor Westerland for sure. So, our Nature Navigator van. I'm sure you've seen this rolling around town. We've had, this was the van that replaced our Nissan truck that we had from 2007 that was gifted to us with a few miles on it. So this was a bit of an upgrade. The van is used primarily by staff for transporting equipment and materials and teaching supplies as they roam around the countryside. You may know that our programming is both mobile. We go to schools, we go to other natural areas, but we do tend to focus most of our programming in the park at the Pembina Nordic Centre, and the Outdoor Education Centre is kind of our home base for nature education programming. The van was made available to us through excellent community and corporate support, Pembina Pipeline, the Drayton Valley Community Foundation, Chiron Insurance, the Cooperators, Synovus, Gen 7 Environmental Solutions, Core Inc., and the West Central Riverboat Association, which actually happens to be one of our recreation clubs that sits at the Parks Council table. All contributed to get us to where we are with this van. And I just want to point out the artwork by Adam Schwangler, who's with the Paint Druid. Adam spent a lot of time listening to our desire to have something quite spectacular, and I think he did a great job. Next slide, please. Always like to draw attention to our recreation clubs. They're listed there, so I won't repeat them. But the clubs bring a ton of volunteer hours to the community and also use of equipment. So when you put that into a dollar value, last year they contributed $221,000 into the community through their volunteer efforts. And that's included in managing facilities and maintenance of facilities and trails, hosting events, and meetings. So the clubs are very busy and active, doing great things in the community and making this area a great place to live. Next slide, please. Our nature education program, I've referred to this often, how proud I am of the direction we have gone with this program. Last year we had 4,606 student experiences through our programming, and we served 21 different schools and organizations, primarily youth. We have been doing a bit of senior programming as well for some of the seniors' homes. So that's an area of interest that we would like to venture into, because there's quite a gap in that type of programming for that population. So we'll be focusing a bit more on that as we go forward. But yes, great results, and still continued significant interest by the schools to have us come out and present from our 27 different program options that are available. Next slide, please. The Parks Trail Report, again, I won't, you can read that, I won't repeat all the numbers, but just to point out that the Rotary Pembina Nordic Community Trails, those are the trails that are situated adjacent to Riverview Cemetery, are the most popular trail, or is the most popular trail system that we have in the parks, and is very well utilized. One of the, I guess, really simple programs that we offer twice a year in April and in October are something we call Wednesday walks. And this is an initiative to get folks that are maybe unfamiliar with the trails or a little uneasy to go out onto the trails by themselves and discover things for themselves, to have a hosted walk. And it will take them through the many different trails in Eagle Point Park. It's just a fun, easy way they can connect with other people and perhaps find a hiking buddy that they can then continue their exploration with. And it's just a way of facilitating folks into making that a little bit easier. So that's a very popular but easy program to offer. Relative to other community events, we ran 12 events last year. The star of the show from an attendance perspective has to be our Forbidden Forest Pumpkin Walk. We had 2,242 people attend that event. over 6 hours. So you can imagine it was quite busy. We had some concerns that have come out of that event that I'll talk to you later about in this presentation, or very shortly in this presentation. Next slide, please. So EPBR has had a great relationship with Brazeau County. You've been a longtime supporter of the organization. We have representation, as I previously mentioned. You have supported events that we've hosted, and you've given us a lot of in-kind support as well, so I want to acknowledge that. However, I am coming before you today, and in those annual reports, I've tucked in a letter of request that I would ask you to consider a $5,000 injection into our operating grant, if you will, for 2027. One of the things we are facing is a significant increase in audit costs, in IT costs, and in our safety program. So the money would be very valuable, but the second piece of the puzzle relative to the money is to do with our demonstrating support to Alberta Forestry and Parks, that our municipalities are behind what EPBR does, and that they can do so with a cash injection. And I understand it's $5,000 is nothing to sneeze at, but I've just sent in a request to Alberta Parks for a 3-year operating grant of just over $500,000. So if I can leverage a little bit of your cash to help demonstrate to Alberta Parks that we are considered a valuable member in the area and the community, that's great. The town of Drayton Valley has been supporting us with a $5,000 injection since 2024, and they have kind of pledged that they will continue that level of support. So I give you that as information. The other thing I would request from you today is a letter of support, if you're willing to do so, relative to that operating grant, that 3-year operating grant that I'm putting forward to Alberta Parks. I had to submit the grant request yesterday, but I knew I was coming today and said I'm expecting another letter that will come in the package. So I didn't want to be presumptuous, but I'm hoping to have a good feeling about this. So I'm hoping we can get a letter in fairly short order if council is willing. The third request I have is relative to the pumpkin walk. Some safety concerns have arisen with the pumpkin walk, just relative to the sheer amount of volume of parking and traffic that we have at the event. So we have considered the option of offering a shuttle service from the town of Drayton Valley and, if you're in agreement, the Brazeau County fields. We would run bus service and really encourage young families is who I'm really going after on to utilize this, or anybody for that matter, but young families as the main target because of our concern of an incident with a kid getting run over. That's our biggest nightmare. And just the sheer, if you've been to the event and you've been on the road, on the road in front of the ski club, it's a real concern in the darkness and just the sheer volume of people that are at that event. So it's something that we're considering from a safety perspective, and the idea being that we would have a shuttle service that would allow people to park at the Brazeau County field, jump on a bus, and it would take them right to the opening entrance of the pumpkin walk. So they would not be having to go down the road of the driveway or the road on 494, and then get them out the same way as well. So that is something we are looking at. So if you can have a decision relative to that request, I would appreciate it. Anyway, that is all I have. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. And I would take your questions at this point.
Just a quick one to Rudy. So what's the normal process when we get funding requests in the middle of the year? Is it just added to the budget discussions?
Yeah, I would probably start by going through Lee's department through the Fin 7 policy.
Okay.
Oh,
So you're just asking about the letter of support? Is that what you were
No,
saying?
the letter of support, I think, is a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's
myself.
no brainer. So, yeah, we'll add that to the budget, yeah. That's what we usually do. yeah.
Just add the funding.
It's at
to-
2027 anyway, so it's not
Okay.
this year, so.
I'm just trying to keep the process the same. Glenn?
Through the chair to the delegate, for the access to the Brazeau Sports Field parking area, that is a very good idea. That parking lot is unused most of the time anyway, so it'd be fantastic. Would you rather than us dealing with this just for October 22nd, 2026, or just make this an ongoing? So that you're not having to ask for the same thing?
If you're willing to do so, that would be wonderful. Yes, we would appreciate that.
Okay, appreciate it, thank you.
Aria?
Thank you. Through the chair to Sandra, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being involved in this, and I think that it's such a positive beacon and such a bright light in our community, and with many thanks to you. So, yeah, just thank you.
Thanks, Aria. I appreciate that.
All right, so deal with the letter first. Aria?
I can make the motion. I move that Brazeau County Council support or provide a letter of support to the Eagle Point Blue Rapids Parks Council, to the Alberta Forestry and Parks for their 3-year operating grant.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, so that's carried unanimous. And then the funding? Glenn?
I move to add to the 2027 Brazeau County budget, the Eagle Point's Blue Rapids Park Council request for $5,000 towards their operating budget.
Do you want to include the 1,000 for the pumpkin walk as well, or not?
Well, it's separate maybe.
Okay, that's fine. All right, Glenn has a motion for the 5,000 to be added to the budget discussions. All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. And finally, the pumpkin walk?
I move to authorize Eagle Point's Blue Rapids Park Council access to the Brazeau Sports Field parking area for their annual Forest Pumpkin Walk. Well, so for the Forbidden Forest Pumpkin Walk.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. All right, it's 10:30, perfect timing. We have
Thank you, councillors.
request for road closure, pardon me? Thanks. Tell and Tyler Calvert, are they in the audience here? Okay. Well, we'll skip to the Public Works private approaches, and we'll come back to the Tell and Calvert request after this. Morning.
But we can give them a bit of time and see if they
Okay.
come in here. So for PW10, private approaches, as part of the continued look at policies to modernize, improve clarity and consistency, and align them with current practices, we're asking Council to adopt the changes to PW10, private approaches. The suggested revisions include updating terminology and policy language for clarity and consistency, removing outdated service level expectations, clarifying eligibility and cost responsibility for new approaches, establishing requirements for approach applications, approvals, inspections, warranties, and security deposits, clarifying responsibilities for construction, maintenance, modification, and replacement of private approaches, and incorporating current engineering, drainage, and operational standards. So administration has reviewed comparable municipality policies and current practices at Brazeau County to ensure the policy remains consistent with the industry standards and operational requirements. The revisions do not change the current operational practices, but better align the written policy with how private approach requests are currently being administered. The updated PW10 private approach policy supports council commitment to well-planned and well-maintained infrastructure by establishing clear standards and requirements for private approaches connected to municipal roadways. The current policy is on page 41. The updated policy is on page 43 to 47. So that's the one we're asking council to adopt. The marked up version is on page 48.
Just a question, I didn't underline it here, but the approach, we own the approach from the fence line to the road, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
From the property line to the
From the
road.
property line to the road,
That's
okay. And so we're responsible for that as a county. Beyond that, it's the landowner's responsibility, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glenn?
Through the chair to Pippa. So I have a couple of residents that definitely have like a double driveway. Is it this won't impact existing driveways, would it?
It does not impact existing driveways. It more so clarifies going forward the approval process.
Oh, fine, thank you.
Aria?
I'm just ready to make a motion if no one
Okay.
else. I move that council adopt the updated policy PW10 as presented.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, so that's carried unanimous. Okay, so you're going to go back to the Tell and Calvert application?
I can, yep. Okay, Tyler Tell had reached out to us, Public Works and Ag, June of 2026, inquiring about lease of an undeveloped road allowance. Reasoning being was for grazing. I think in the agenda package, there was the formal email request with a couple maps attached. And so they've highlighted the area they're looking to lease. We do have a PW7 policy regarding purchase or lease of a roadway. And that policy, it does need to be approved by council before we move forward. So they would be coming to council to ask about moving forward with a lease. For the lease to come into effect, the roadway must first be officially closed. So we do have to go through the standard process with Alberta Transportation. So this would be closed via municipal bylaw. So if council did approve, then Public Works would first look into it, start the steps, bring back a proposed bylaw to council. It does get advertised out, referred out to external agencies, internal departments, as well as adjacent landowners. And ultimately, it had to be approved by Alberta Transportation. So although it's in Brazeau County, Alberta Transportation owns it, but we just administer the undeveloped road allowance. So I think they were coming to council just to ask for if you wanted to, council wishes to move forward with pursuing a lease on this roadway.
Glenn?
Thank you. So there was another option. I know we've done temporary closures. Isn't that a better, is that not an option in this case? Because then we don't have to go to Alberta Transportation, correct? We can just do a temporary closure?
It's within they're looking to gate it, and within the policy right now, this is for a temporary one, it's for a term not exceeding 3 years of length.
Because I was thinking for the ski trails, right? They had us do a temporary closure so they could put a gate in.
That did go through the same process. It did go through Alberta Transportation, so we did have to go through. Yeah, we had to go through. It was about a 2-year process. We did have to go through referring it out, getting feedback, getting approvals. There had to be meets and bounds description done on it, and then we did have to get Alberta Transportation to sign off on that one as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Carol?
Just to Pippa, this is a county road allowance, is this correct?
That's right.
And so the current landowner adjacent to that county road allowance has fenced it off on either side, and he wants to basically graze that piece that's fenced, is that correct?
Yes, and put a gate on the end of the road allowance as well. And the applicant is on the northeast portion, but there is a different resident that owns the adjacent to the other portion, and they would have to be referred to them as well.
And have they expressed any interest in accessing that piece either for grazing or?
Not that I'm aware of, but they also haven't been referred to. This is the first step. It's normally the resident comes to council to express interest.
And have we, sorry, one more question, and do we have precedent where we've done this before?
Yes. Yeah. And so there has, over the last 6 years, I've thrown out a number, but I feel like there's been, I think, 1 lease and maybe 4 to 5 road allowance purchases. But council also has declined a few requests as well, depending on the area. And yeah.
Okay, and one final question. Is this road allowance a piece that we have perceived that we will never, ever complete a road in that piece?
Well, I think we can never say never say never. And I think that's why a few of the last previous ones, my feedback from council previously was they prefer to leave the option open for people looking to purchase the undeveloped road allowances. But this request is only for a lease. And in the policy, it can be terminated on 90 days notice in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you never know what the future holds for the utilization of your right-of-ways. Yeah. Okay.
Take a swing at stuff.
Dallas?
See what's going on. All right, so it looks like there's a lease road there. So they'll have to enter into a road use agreement with that particular oil company, wherever that is. So that this is just the beginning, so they haven't done that yet. And we haven't heard from the adjacent property owner. He owns both quarters on both sides. I don't know who owns the fence or if it's fenced. That would be a bit of a peculiar arrangement. Do we have to enter into a lease agreement? Can't we just simply enter into just a simple agreement? I'm not in favor, just for council's sake, I'm not in favor of leasing this property for a long term. Ultimately, right-of-ways belong to the people of Alberta, and it's something that goes against my nature to close right-of-ways temporarily or permanently. Because of the adjacent property owner, I'd be curious to know what his opinions are. Typically, the adjacent property owners are the stewards of that property. And it looks like there's some haying going on and potentially some pasture there as well. So if the gentleman, maybe if he's in the hallway, maybe we should just grab him and ask him if he's done any legwork. If he's asked for, consulted with that, because it's a very peculiar arrangement, I would say. And if we ever were to, this is just my opinion, if we ever were to enter into a lease agreement, I would make it very short term.
And we're suggesting 3 years with the clause that we can opt out at any time?
To the Reeve, that's as per the council's current PW7 policy. Safe to say that this policy could do with some updating too. So based on feedback today, this could be the next suggested policy we bring forward to make some changes to it. But currently, yes, it is. A lease shall be terminable on 90 days notice in writing and for a term not exceeding 3 years in length. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's who was in the hallway or not. Did you want
I don't
me
know either.
to check?
Does anybody know?
What do we do with the grazing license for hay? Is it termed the same way as this?
I'm going to have to refer that to Ag. I'd hate to speak on their behalf.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What's that, Glenn?
Chair, I have a question. So they've been spraying it for a year. What is it?
The undeveloped road allowance, that
And
is
we're allowed,
nothing
we're
that,
allowed to do that? I didn't
No,
know,
this
otherwise
is-
I'd probably spray mine too.
no, but permission was given.
Oh.
We've referred this to Ag and through Public Works. This was the first time that was noted.
And why is it a fire hazard? Is it due to the spraying or is it treed? I can't tell from the photo from the overhead view. Is it got tall trees that are 30 feet high or what kind of landscape are we looking at?
I have not been out to this undeveloped
Okay.
road allowance. I was not prepared to speak today. This was the first step of the resident coming to council, so I apologize. With council direction, then Public Works does their initial site inspection. We kind of go from there normally at that point. He did reach out to Ag first. It didn't fall under their policies. It was referred to Public Works, and it was deemed that it fell under this PW7 policy. Yeah, could definitely bring back more information for council if you're open to that.
I would, I'm aligning with Councillor Ekstrom or Deputy Reeve Ekstrom here on this, that I wouldn't want to give that up because there's always a chance that somebody would want to subdivide and build a house or something along that road, and to close it, it makes it very tough to move forward. Thank you.
I would just say that in terms of like fire hazard, if you have a lot of grass buildup that isn't being, or pasture land or whatever you want to call it, that isn't being grazed, it can grow up and then you have dead grass continuing. I'm assuming they're spraying because there's weeds, which would be our weeds. So I'm assuming they're spraying to get rid of the weeds, and then you would also have probably smaller trees growing up that would hinder anything. I don't see a problem with grazing a chunk of land, but I am curious to see, they don't own both sides of that? No, so that would be my concern, is that the neighboring landowner is going to say, why didn't I get a shot at this? So that would be, I think, the first thing, is that we need to be in contact with both landowners as well as the oil company before we would even touch this.
Just given that Tell and Tyler Calvert aren't here to speak on this, should we just accept this at the moment for information and maybe they'll get back to us?
Sure.
Okay. I move that council accept the request for road closure for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? That'll also give you time, Peppa, to do some research to see if the landowners are others that are interested in it, and go from there.
I'm in favor of that motion.
Say that again, Kara?
I'm in favor of that motion.
Okay. Range Road 42. Pages 54 to 150.
Administration is seeking council direction on Bridge File 71598, Range Road 42, south of Township 475. The map is on page 150. I'll start off just with the rain classification event. This is, at the time of writing the report, we consulted with Brazeau County Emergency Management. The rainfall event has not been classified as anything other than a rainfall event. Emergency Management referred to the Alberta Emergency Management Agency, and they were advised that the traditional rainfall return period classifications are no longer being used and outdated, so they haven't listed this as anything. I know there's been a lot of talk, as it is 1 in 100, that type of thing. So we don't have any information at this time on that. A little bit of background. On this bridge, June 21st, a resident contacted the county's after-hour emergency line to report the potential bridge damage. After-hour staff went out there, determined that there is significant damage to the bridge, a roadway washout, and temporarily closed the bridge. Barricades and road signs were installed to protect public safety. June 22nd, administration assessed the site and developed an initial stabilization plan. June 23rd, and a lot of the debris that was safely able to be reached and was from the southeast side of the bank only, was removed just to reduce some pressure on the structure, as at that time we were told there was another large rain event coming down, so we didn't want to have further further damage. June 23rd, administration provided council with an update advising that the estimated replacement cost identified in the STIP application that was presented to council November 2025, based on the BIM estimate, was approximately $2 million. We had discussed that it'd been previously identified as a possibility of being a bridge culvert in the future, but as it is a bridge right now, that's what it was applied through for STIP funding. STIP funding, at that time, we didn't have a response. CEO reached out to Alberta Transportation. It has since been confirmed that we weren't successful in our 2025 application for STIP funding on this one. We reached out to administration, to insurance, just to confirm if this damage would be covered under insurance. On July 3rd, they confirmed that the loss is not covered under the county's policy. I already mentioned the funding. July 8th is when we got the formal email confirming that we were unsuccessful with our STIP application on this one. We investigated a couple of funding opportunities, including the Alberta Drought and Flood Protection Program and the Hazard Assistance and Resilience Program. So that's the large attachments 1 and 2, just for information. The Alberta Drought and Flood Protection Program, this program does not provide funding to repair existing damage. It may, however, be considered for future projects intended to mitigate flood-related risks. So we're working with emergency management just to see how this could potentially be used going forward. Regarding the Hazard Assistance and Resilience Program, administration confirmed that HARP applications must be submitted through the Alberta Emergency Management and require the event to be classified as a disaster with an established start and end date. And unfortunately, I confirmed with Emergency Management, we don't have this in this circumstance. Under the Emergency Management Act, a disaster is defined as an event that results in serious harm to the safety, health, or welfare of people and a widespread damage to property or the environment. So it was confirmed to me by Emergency Management that this rainfall event did not meet the definition of a disaster under the Emergency Management Act. So as a result, the HARP funding is unfortunately not applicable here. June 23rd, we requested an emergency level 1 bridge inspection. June 30th, that bridge inspection was completed. That's attachment 3 on page 118. Bridge engineer advised that the repair would be more costly, not recommended option based on the inspection. And can consider for replacement. That was their comments on there. Bridge replacement options. We investigated several rental, temporary, semi-permanent, and permanent bridge options to better understand solutions for restoring access. Preliminary discussions with bridge suppliers indicate that the bridge structure itself represents only one component of the overall project cost. Regardless of the bridge type selected, significant additional work would likely be required before a bridge could be installed. We looked into some rental options as well. Those only available up to 18 meters. This one's just over 20 meters. On page 56 there's potential additional project costs identified. And on page 57 is just a high level look at the different options. We looked into a number of different companies, Jim Bob Rentals, Northern Mountain Bridge, Algonquin, Rapid Span, just to name a few of them. And they just gave some high-level information regarding rental bridge options, semi-permanent bridge options, and permanent bridge options. If council wishes to go this direction, we'll have to look into more details. All of them noted that the bridge cost represents the bridge structure only. It does not include project delivery costs, as was mentioned on the previous page. While rental and semi-permanent bridge options may have a lower initial bridge cost than a permanent replacement, the bridge structure represents only one component of the overall project. Once you take into demolition, engineering, permitting, substructure work, approach reconstruction, erosion, protection, installation, the total projected cost still we're looking, coming up to $2 million for this project. The majority of the total cost of a new bridge is attributed to the preparation established of a solid base and support structure. The bridge deck component usually makes up a lower percentage of the overall project. Unfortunately, it's the substructure that we are against with this bridge here. So a few options for council. Option 1, to receive this report for information. Option 2, to direct administration to defer consideration of funding for bridge file 71598 to the 2027 interim budget process, and direct administration to prepare a new STIP application for this bridge. Option 3, approve the replacement of bridge file 71598 utilizing the BIM estimated replacement cost, the same as we did with the previous STIP application.
Shane, you got a question?
What was the reasoning that insurance would not cover this?
Yeah, I would just referred it to corporate services, who reached out to insurance, and they sent me that formal response from
Okay,
insurance.
so there's no reasoning behind it, just we're not covering this.
It's not covered under the policy yet. Yeah. I can refer that to corporate services to get more details on that.
I would be interested as to why, because if we have other bridges that go out, why are we paying insurance on?
Yeah, from my understanding, it was something to do with, like, we have liability, so if equipment or person was hit or damaged on a bridge, that we have that.
That's the only,
But not for external event. I don't know how to explain that better.
is that, okay, so.
Yeah,
that's
that was
why.
my understanding of
Our
it. However,
insurance-
that's not my world, so I hate to, say that.
So insurance
formally.
doesn't cover it because we're only covered for liability for people who are.
That was my
hurt on-
understanding.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
May I? 'Cause I can answer that from a high level.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I do have experience with this, but the particulars of Brazeau County, I don't know. But as Pippa, as our Public Works Director had said, still get that information from corporate services, but from very high level, most municipalities do not have that type of insurance coverage for any of their type of infrastructure. It's too costly. Pippa is correct. What most carry is liability insurance, and that's if somebody was injured or liability type issues with that type of infrastructure. But the actual structure itself, I don't know in many cases where there's actual insurance coverage with it because it's just too costly.
Right? Okay. All right, we'll just pause here on this particular item, and we'll go to public input. It's an opportunity for the public to give us some ideas, suggestions, be respectful of the staff and council, and the floor is open to anybody that wants to give us some input. Anybody online? Did you come in here for public input? Because you... No. All right. Nobody in the gallery? Nobody online? We'll come back to the item, and we'll come out of public input. So now we're back to, what do you guys want to do with this application?
Let's kick it around.
I'll go to, well, let's see here. I'll
I'm
start
Deputy Reeve.
Glenn?
Go first.
Glenn?
Okay. Well, you couldn't be neither of us, you know that. So. Through the chair to Director of Public Works, I just, obviously the bridge was overtaken with water. You can see the mud is on the top and the debris. Would there be any plans if we do build another bridge to get this thing another 5 feet off the ground somehow, or are we just going to keep it low to the ground again? What would be the, what would we be looking at for a new bridge?
Yes. So I don't think I would speak on that at this time. I just think it was identified before that there could be the option for a larger bridge culvert in the place of a bridge in this one. But again, that would be referred through engineering, and same with what would be required there for flood events. So.
I guess, yeah, for a flood event, and you have a bridge or culvert there, I guess, we were just thinking a low-level culvert crossing. So somebody could get swept into that creek, obviously, if they tried to cross that as well, right? So it'd be a danger, I would think, on that side. But I would just, like I said, I haven't got a problem doing the step thing. I think it's a great idea, and maybe looking at putting in a new bridge, but we have to make sure this thing is high enough off the ground so that it's not getting slammed with debris and stuff when that creek gets that high.
Aria?
This is just curiosity's sake. Is this a well-utilized bridge? I'm not familiar with it, so is it, what's the road count like? Is it high, low?
I'll refer to the STIP application. It does say the road count on there, so you'll have to give me a moment to find that. Yeah, I don't want to give out a random number. So, yeah.
How long has it been boarded off?
Since June 23rd, end of June.
Okay.
So, and we do have permanent concrete barricades at the actual bridge
Right.
openings now, just because it was identified a bit more of an issue, and then the temporary ones further up. So landowners in the area can still access their agricultural approaches.
So it's 3 years now. People obviously have another alternate route. It's just they're probably taking the long way around, don't they?
Oh, sorry, no, just since the end of June.
Oh, the end of, oh, I thought you said 2023.
No, June 23rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they still have to be finding a way around.
Do you like this bridge?
Oh, okay. Aria, then Carol, then Shane.
Okay, still me. Thank you. So through the chair to Pippa, so with the $2 million approximate, would that be to turn it into the bridge culvert?
No, that was to replace with a similar bridge as per the replacement program. Yeah.
Carol?
Thank you. Reeve, through the chair to Pippa. So the $2 million is to replace it in kind with a new bridge, and the abutments, does that include the work on either side of that bridge as well? Is that kind of all in other than the engineering work, or?
That's correct. It was all an estimate from the BIM network bridge estimate that they give for a full replacement of this bridge, as it was approaching end of life. It was identified. So this wasn't rehabilitation, this was for replacement.
Okay, and if I may follow up with, how many STIP funding applications do we currently have in process that have been, we are still waiting for approval on?
I provided this information to the CEO. There was 2 STIP applications and 1 DFFP application in November of 2025. So, yeah.
And this one was the one that we were denied on this one, so we still have one outstanding that we haven't heard.
Yeah, it's not public yet. Yeah.
So just a point of concern for me in the STIP funding application piece. Because we take a project that we know is upcoming and we apply for STIP funding in November, and just correct me if I'm wrong in the process here, but we apply in November on a project that we know is upcoming. We don't hear approval for that or whatever till the following June.
That's right.
So we have already missed a construction year. So if we have a bridge that is possibly going to be in the potential end of life, we wouldn't know about that. We wouldn't have the approval or decline of that until June. We've missed that construction year.
Yeah.
If we get declined, as in this particular case, we are now into the next budget year of November again, so November of 2026, to reapply for STIP funding for this bridge again.
That's correct.
And we wouldn't hear whether or not we got the approval for that until the following June again, which gives us very little time to prepare for that construction season. So we technically are without a bridge for 2 years. 2 to 3 years in this planning process, waiting for STIP funding. And if we have a catastrophic event like we've had, we are now behind the 8 ball in repairing the bridge at our cost without, because we have to do something before 3 years is up. So even if we apply for STIP funding, that bridge is going to be down for at least a year and a half, possibly 2.
That is correct.
That is,
So administration is trying to bring these, and this was brought forward prior to end of life, to bring a note to it, and it goes by the inspections also. Getting a bit ahead of myself here, but during the 2027 interim budget, you'll see a presentation on road crossing maintenance program. Instead of relying solely on STIP, we've been identifying that there's been a past history of relying on that. I think doing some more budget towards the ongoing necessary repairs leading up to it would help this case as well. So that's another side thing that will be coming to council the 27 interim.
okay. But in this particular bridge file, we need to replace it or sit with a bridge that is out of service for the next 2 years
That is correct.
on the whim that we might get STIP funding for it.
Yeah, so there was an option through your council wanted to approve it without STIP funding, but if you wanted to do a STIP funding, then yes, we have to wait till we apply in November 2026 and then wait for June 2027 for a response. And like you said, that would miss that construction season, we would start the engineering design, that would be put out for the previous, next year for 2028.
And if I might ask one more question?
Go ahead.
It does say that the funding could come for the $2 million identified by corporate services. Could I ask that corporate services tell us the options there?
Good morning, council. So just to catch up, you're just wondering as to assign county funds to that project there. So there are currently now, as council, I had recently sent out a bit of a snapshot of the reserve account there. So there currently is about $6.5 million that would be earmarked from corporate services to use towards future projects. This would not include, our equipment replacement and items such as this. This is more some of those miscellaneous accounts that council has.
One more question for
No
you, if
problem.
I may, Colin. In that 6.5 million and in your budget pieces, is there allocated capital costs that are allocated for projects that we've approved in the past that we might be able to reevaluate and pull from into this project or other projects?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Volk. So within that 6.5, that's essentially any motions made since final budget would be would have to deduct from that 6.5. I don't think there's been anything too large. But as far as previous committed projects, they would not be included in that amount. But there are projects, that throughout the past years have been approved by council with funds allocated to it, removed from that general pool, that we could bring back for a council review if they'd like to see some of those projects that potentially may no longer be the vision of council, and they may look to maybe close those out for good. We do have a couple we would like to bring to the 2027 interim budget as part of our year-end process as we go through with our auditors. They do highlight a few that are getting a little stale dated on the books there, and there may be somewhere some of the works completed wouldn't be valid anymore as well too, but there are a couple projects that could be brought forward for reevaluation from council.
And those would be in the restricted funds, I assume?
That is correct, yeah. Typically we keep those in our deferred projects or committed funds, so that way council isn't utilizing the same funds twice there, and we like to clearly remove those from the available restricted reserves.
And do you have an estimate of what might be there that might be
Yeah,
potential?
unfortunately I don't. Me and Pippa would have to sit down and come to, I'm sure there, to say $1 million, I'm sure somewhere along those lines. But yeah, I wouldn't have a real firm figure at this current time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Shane?
So I did go down and look at that. We looked at it together when it was happening. I think a big problem in terms of your concern about height of the bridge, a lot of that, I think the problem that we ran into there was a lot of the beaver dams upriver from that, or I would hesitate to call it a river, up creek from that, busted out and got caught because of the high level. If all that wood wasn't there, it would have continued, I think. It was crazy when we went there. It was up the bridge deck. It was right there. And I think the slowdown from all the branches also eroded the sides. My only thought that I'm having with this before we go ahead, I didn't realize temporary bridges were an option, so I would really like to see more exploration on the temporary bridges in there. That's the first time seeing that. So, because I know we have another bridge that's also been shut down. That, yeah, maybe this is something we need to look into a little more.
May I?
Go ahead, Kara.
Thank you. And this is kind of maybe a broader conversation that I think that council needs to have, an uncomfortable and awkward one, I think might be the best way to explain it. We know about this bridge. I think Councillor Blosky mentioned another bridge, and another, and another, and another. This is more just a general comment, is what are we doing and what are we gonna do with our asset management? This bridge, yet again, is another example that we were aware of the issue. We've been putting a Band-Aid on a problem, trying to limp them along, but here we are. How many more bridges and culverts do we have in this state, and other infrastructure? And what is the plan going forward? Because I'm incredibly uncomfortable with one-offs. I understand emergencies pop up here and there, but this bridge, we knew about it. We knew that there was an issue. We've known for a few years. We've been sticking Band-Aids on it. And I guess I don't know what the answer is, but we have to come up with the plan because this isn't working.
And my plan is to bring this to the Minister of Municipal Affairs when we speak to him in the fall this RMA. Earlier, years ago, we considered a design that would incorporate a multi-plate culvert, a bridge size culvert for this application. That, in my opinion, is a good candidate for a pipe. The design that we looked at a number of years ago, and I'll say 10 years ago, in my opinion, was a bit over-designed, and it became very difficult to get the land, as you can imagine, how difficult it is to get the land. But the design needs to meet the need. So I think if I see that you've mentioned in your report here that, yeah, you're maybe still looking into a bridge size culvert for this application. I think we need to explore that fully before we put a span bridge in here. If we're without a bridge on this particular road, it's going to be unfortunate and inconvenient. However, worth the wait if we can put a pipe in here that's going to last 90 years. A multi-plate pipe. And really that is the long-term solution, in my opinion. So I'd really like, to direct administration to really flesh out that option. So what if we were just receive this for information today, Pippa? Is that something you'll continue to pursue, or would you like more direction, more specific direction in order to?
Would council want to put engineering funds, design and engineering funds towards that, or just to accept for information and bring back it into budget?
I think we should try to move ahead on it, in my opinion. I don't want to wait, so I would, in my opinion, if council's in agreement, to allocate some engineering design to it. I know we have a design. So I'd just like our own engineer to fix it. Of course, that's probably not going to be what happens. But yeah, that's what I'd be in favor of. And if they're, like I say, if they're out without a bridge for 2 years, the traffic count is very low, and it's an inconvenience, but it's still worth it in the end. So that's my 2 bits. What's council think about that?
Through the chair to Pippa. So I kind of get the culvert idea. I'm still thinking, like, if you do have a flood event again and it plugs up with trees, it's going to wash out the sides of that road, will it not? Or will we get 20 years out of a culvert? Like, I would think that culvert's going to be swept down the creek if you get a whole bunch of wood and stuff from beaver dams coming and slamming into it and plugging that off.
Well, that would be the design. The design process would accommodate for all that, right?
Okay.
So similar to the other bridge, they look at the past history, past flood events, past inspections, historical in the area and determine what's required there.
Just a few thoughts here. If this bridge is a good candidate for a bridge culvert, then I would also be interested in exploring that as an option versus the span bridge. Yeah, and hopefully it would be a bit cheaper.
That's gonna be quite a large culvert. Darn right. Like, it's gonna raise the profile quite high. What about those half-moon culverts, putting in 2 or 3 of them like they do in the, I think there was some down in the Sunchild area. They're just basically from the ground.
Yeah, flat bottoms.
Yeah, flat bottom, yeah. Do they increase the capacity at all?
I don't want to speak on this
Okay.
specific one, right? This is getting too much more into the details, which I cannot speak on. In the past, 4-step applications, historically, councils approved either the entire amount so that administration could start on engineering design, or, you know, at least the 20% for engineering design to move forward. On this specific step application, that was not done in 2025. It was just approved to do a step application. So that could be another option for council to approve that today, to look into that. So oftentimes when we do the step application, even though we're getting approved or not, we'll start that process. That hasn't been on this one. So approving those funds could be an option today too, to take this feedback and get those, you know, look at all the options available there and what would be best.
Yeah, okay. So the advantage of the multi-plate culvert is it has a very long lifespan, very long lifespan. And it doesn't matter if it's a span bridge or not, if it gets plugged with trash, we got a problem. Doesn't matter what the hydrological event is, you know, it's gonna affect you no matter what. Span bridges require a great deal of maintenance. Pipes don't. Also a huge advantage. Maintenance on span bridges is very expensive, as we know. So it's worth us to seriously look into. The only trouble that I have with STIP application right now is the BIM estimate. If we miss on the BIM estimate, then we potentially lose out on funds.
We lose on the funds.
So it's just an estimate. So if we have a specific designed engineered plan, that is very specific to the costs and to the application. So that's a much more accurate number. If we just work off the BIM, then it's, I don't really know.
Then we just get that 75% of that number.
Of that.
And if there is additional, if that's what you're meaning, if there's additional,
Yes.
then it would just be coming from Brazeau County, yes.
Yeah, Brazeau
Yeah.
County doesn't like that. So I just think more information is required. Just before we do that STIP application, we've got until the fall to get that in. So is there a chance that we could get more detailed information just before we do that? I know that we've done at least 3 STIPs on this bridge, right? Maybe more. And they've all been denied. So government does not seek favor in us in this application process. So again, if we just receive it for information with some, I don't want to touch the STIP just yet. Allocate funds for the beginning of some engineering. Is that something that would get some traction?
Go ahead, Peppa.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would start the process, and then we could start on building some information for council.
Okay.
And what's the cost of the engineering?
What I'm hoping is that the cost would be less, because I believe it's been engineered once already. Less than initially.
And that was done with culverts, ridge-plated culverts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't answer that because, like I
understand.
mentioned, I seen that there was history, and
Yeah.
I think it was 2013, there had been some work put into it. They've been looking into the culvert, as council mentioned before. They ended up with some land acquisition issues. I only looked high level at that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just going for the 20% of it, 409,000 would be an estimate to start at, just to start some work. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't dwell too much into exact reports from before, just looked at some high level, what had been done back in 2013.
Okay, our next council meeting is August the what? 18th. Would it be okay just to bring that back to the August 18th meeting? I can't imagine that we're going to get a lot done between now and then anyway.
Just to find out what the past work was done on this, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll move to direct administration to return with this particular bridge file to the next council meeting. That's okay?
Motion is on the floor. Any other discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Well, yeah. Moose Hill Bridge.
Bear with me, I just have to contact the presenter as well. Okay, so council's considered Bridge File 70530 a few times since November 2025, including the bridge closure, engineer assessments, reopening options, and longer-term repair solutions. A Level 2 bridge inspection from the province identified a low rating advisory, and engineer's preliminary slope inspection confirmed slope instability at the site. Based on the province's low-level rating memo, engineer findings, and liability advice from insurance, council directed the temporary closure of the bridge in December 2025 and are currently working on assessing options for a longer-term repair solution, with the current scope focusing on a repair intended to provide an estimated 10-year service life. So this one again, a significant rainfall event in June resulted in further deterioration at the site, included changes to the east approach and the east bank. Conditions continue to change on that east side specifically. So WSP is here remotely with us today to present the results of their assessment and recommendations and to assist council in determining the preferred course of action. So I'll turn it over to WSP online to do their presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, council. Hopefully I'm coming through well.
Yes, you're clear as a bell.
Awesome. Hello, my name's Kevin, and I'm from WSP. I also have here Riaz Abbas. He's my manager here to support me. But yeah, essentially what I'll do here this morning is I'll give a brief introduction on this bridge that I'm sure the council is well familiar with now, and then I'll go through our newest assessment, and then and I can answer whatever council's questions that you may have. So yeah, so essentially a geotechnical report was completed as part of the original scope for replacement last year. The geotechnical study kind of identified the material issue at the east abutment, and we based on the LiDAR that was completed as a part of the survey, it was identified as an active sliding zone back last year. So, through some discussions and I think a previous presentation, the revised scope became to be an assessment to explore some more short-term solutions, approximately 10-year solution to be exact, and that was our revised scope. So we took our previous studies done, we kind of, we proceeded with the scope, and one thing I would like to kind of note is that this assessment was drafted based on the original scope of work that was identified, and it didn't account or it didn't incorporate any of the major considerations that was caused by this recent rain event. But I can say that the solutions, they're not going to be changed drastically because of the major issue that we identified at the geotechnical stage on the east side. A 10-year solution may serve for a 45-year or 50-year course anyways, because there's just no real good band-aid for this. Our opinion is that if we wanted to have any confidence in any sort of repair option, we would need to have a little bit more information regarding to the geotechnical condition of it right now to see if that side, if that abutment is still sliding, and or how much it is sliding by, what is the movement like. Essentially we can look to have a smaller monitoring program than what was recommended last year, but we still think it's imperative to have that before we proceed with repairs. But for the purpose of the memo, we identified two potential solutions. One is to repair the existing abutment that's failing right now. We'll install a new piles, new foundations, and a new substructure, try to kind of prop the bridge back up, and to make sure that relatively short term, it's something that's not failing, pretty much. And then the other option is that we do this new abutment repair, and then we extend the bridge span by another approach length of, let's just say 12 meters ish, and then have extend the abutment further east to, span this bad section of technically speaking, bad section of ground here. So those are the two major options that were presented in the memo.
Dallas?
Yeah. Well, hello, I'm Dallas. I'm the Deputy Reeve of Brazeau County. Thank you for your report this morning. I appreciate that. I appreciate the work you guys are doing here. Yeah, so, I'll just give you my opinion. I'm not really leaning into the idea of having another span. Okay, if we turned down the idea of a geotechnical survey earlier this year, but if you are saying that you would have a smaller scale geotechnical that would give us the information we require for the east abutment repair or replacement, I think that would be, you said it's imperative, so I think that would probably be appropriate that we do that. I was just hoping that we could use the geotechnical information that we already have, seeing that we are looking at a short lifespan, maybe 10 years at this point. But you're saying that we need more information, so I would accept that.
So what it is that if we were to put new substructure at this abutment, which would be steel,
yeah.
I guess it depends on what the county's intention is with the bridge. If we install this abutment, on the east side, let's just say soon in the future, and the intended service life is for 10 years, then I guess my question would be, what is the plan after 10 years if we're kind of looking to the futures a little bit? Because that substructure, once the steel is in there, because it's not designed to anything, the new structure may be, or what happens after the 10 years. We're going to potentially remove this, this abutment that we fix with a notable amount of cost, and then are we going to remove it and then just pull it out and then just reconstruct everything anew. Like if that's the case, then potentially, we can look to have something to expedite the process, because it'll take some time for us to go and install the instrumentation for geotechnical, and then it's going to take some time for the slope meters to see if the slope is moving. So.
I see, yeah. What you suggest is likely, I guess I can't speak for council, I don't know what the long-term solution is, but I do consider that 10-year lifespan with an east abutment rehabilitation would be good value, in my opinion, if we can do it for under $1 million. So honestly, it's a low traffic road, it's a low traffic bridge. So the solution has to suit that need. Again, there's no point in us putting a large bridge or spending an exuberant amount of money here on something that is so low traffic. So if we're able to, like I'm saying upstream, if we're able to put a bridge-size culvert upstream at the other crossing, perhaps it's something that we can take into consideration for this crossing long-term down the road. Hopefully we can get some information from that. Yeah. I like the idea of the rehabilitation of the east side abutment. I think that's what we should consider doing. And that will buy us the time that we need in order to decide whether or not we're going to make the investment of a new bridge file here for this application. So yeah, if it were up to me, I'd give you some direction, move ahead with some geotechnical work and go ahead and fix that east side abutment. What does the rest of council think? Carol?
Just in regards to the engineering, could you tell me what is the estimated cost for doing that geotechnical? You're talking about doing a bridge that might last us 10 years for approximately $800,000, but we still need to do the geotechnical on that east side abutment. So we've been at this bridge since, from what I could find, 2018. We managed to get, we were looking for 3 years out of it at one time, and we were fortunate and got 5. I've just followed the history on it. We've spent money, we've spent more money, we keep limping it along, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly what it has cost us to date. That east abutment, if I'm correct, is on a corner bend and will continue to erode over time regardless of the geotechnical piece of it. It's just, I'm ready to throw the towel in and pull the bridge. I am. I don't see where we are going to find value here. If you could maybe just supply me with that information on what you would hope to achieve out of that geotechnical on the east side bank to see if that will support the abutment under the current climate. That's my question.
Sure, yeah, definitely. So essentially, our goal with the geotechnical investigation primarily is to get data regarding to if the slope is moving and what the pressure of the soil is at certain levels, and potentially what the water level is at, or kind of monitor it, because that will help us identify when we go in there and do the abutment rehabilitation, how much material or how much geotechnical rehabilitation we'll need for that area. Because right now we only can see from a top-down view based on our LiDAR that the whole entire slope is kind of sliding, as you mentioned. With more relevant geotechnical instrumentation and data, it's going to give us a better, refined work scope, work limits, and and what we're looking at in terms of the designs, both the bridge design and the geotechnical design.
May I? Glenn? I believe the geotechnical, I think it was $65,000, correct? Or was it 80?
So the previous, I guess the previous geotechnical estimate we provided last year, based on a replacement scope, that was $160,000. With this, we could have a portion of that. Exactly how much, we'd have to go and refine our cost estimate based on exactly what the county is looking for its purpose. But it could be still around that $100,000 mark just for the instrumentation and then the preliminary geotechnical design.
And I believe that you were trying to capture data throughout the spring, when the water is moving, so we would be waiting for the data to be presented, I would assume, this time next year for this geotechnical?
So that was our original intent, and that was the best case scenario. If we were to install instrumentation now, we could have a little bit of window here for good data. Definitely not the season where the ground is most susceptible to movement, which is in the spring. But again, I think if the county is willing to accept that, there's workaround or there's risks that we could, I guess the design could accept based on your directions to accommodate for that. But yes, the best timing for geotechnical instrumentation data, sliding specifically, would probably be spring into the summer instead of coming out of summer into the fall.
That's fine. To the Director of Public Works, there's still money available left for the geotechnical, like that's been budgeted? There is money? Okay. Thank you.
Let's carry on. Yes, so gentlemen, the geotechnical information that we acquire from your studies, will that be relevant information 10 years from now? Or is it just simply a short window of time that we're looking at right now? Because I would like to forward that to 10 years from now when we're doing a replacement, hopefully. And that would be relevant for information. That's what I'm hoping for. So that investment would not be short term.
Yes, so the geotech, okay, so for example, in the scenario that we carry out our replacement, so the typical geotechnical investigation for a replacement structure, let's just say 5 years down the road, it should still be applicable, right? Like geotechnical information wouldn't change in the short term as long as you go you have enough of them, because if you have very shallow geotechnical information based on the design standards nowadays, it's not adequate for design anyways, especially knowing what we know about this site. So if we do our geotechnical investigation, it's going to have to be pretty deep data that we have. It's just a matter of if we want to have a reduced scope of work later when we do the actual replacement by whomever possibly, it'll be up to them to determine if we have enough information.
I see.
Because if we do a portion, that portion would very likely be still applicable, but is that portion enough of the whole picture that they need for design? So that'll be the question.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. I think in the long term, okay, so I'm thinking we're going to do a bridge replacement one fine day, hopefully in 10 to 15 years' time, with a little bit of good weather. I mean, if you experience a catastrophic weather event, you're going to have failures all over the county. Doesn't really matter what it is. So you need a little bit of good luck when it comes to weather. But with a little bit of good luck, we'll get more than a decade out of this east side abutment and likely the entire structure. As far as bridges are concerned, they require maintenance all the time. We're always spending money on span bridges. That never ends. It's a good investment. It's what we do. That's how we get from one side to the other. We have to replace the decks. We have to do structural stuff to the steel. We have to repair the piles. We have to repair the abutments. That's just normal. They're expensive. They're beasts. But that's just normal. That's normal for every bridge. And this bridge has served us very well. It's just a simple bridge is all it is, and it's relatively inexpensive in the grand scheme of things. So I think it would bode well if we are applying for a STIP application down the road, if the minister saw that we have done everything humanly possible in order to get every last bit of life out of this bridge. I think it would bode very well for us for an application down the road when we really need it. Again, I'm just trying to convince you guys. I think it's a good investment.
If I may, to administration, I don't know if this will go through to corporate services or to public works, but could you just tell me what we have spent year to date on this particular bridge file, going back to the original 2018 timeframe? No, I just want to go back to 2018, kind of when we started to do some work on that bridge, and we knew it was going to be replaced, and where we are year to date, and so I can kind of judge where we're going.
To council, just looking at Colin here, we don't have a year to date for you right now. I do have on this current bridge file, because it's as per the, with finances as per the project number, so I just have it on the project number for today.
That will be helpful.
And I believe, okay, let me get the exact number. Sorry, my eyesight here. So, to date, I show on project Road 0308, 84,871. Keep in mind, though, I believe the current scope change right here was an additional $10,000, I believe. So that will bring us up to approximately 94,000. The total budget assigned to the project was 1.5 million, so that sits with this project number, right? Okay.
So we have spent close to $100,000 already. We have a $1.5 million budget to look at the situation. We're looking at an additional $100,000 possibly for the east abutment geotechnical study, and depending on what that looks like, $800,000 to give us a new approach there that will give us a 10-year lifespan. Is that kind of the summary? Have I wrapped that all up nicely?
Yes, and similar to the discussions on the other bridge as well, that 1.5 was based off the BIM estimate a while ago, and some conditions have changed with this one. So I think we're using more towards certain areas rather than construction at this point, but the funds are there.
Thank you.
Move forward. Move forward, we need a motion from somebody.
Okay, well, I would just craft a motion like I would direct administration to proceed with geotechnical investigation as requested, and to proceed with east side abutment rehabilitation.
To council, is this one of the options on WSP, so we can reference the option within the report on the motion there, or not?
Does it kind of really
No.
capture that? Or
Nope. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
If you're,
So, yeah, so essentially the two options presented is the one with no span, no additional span, one with additional span. So that's the two. The geotechnical consideration would be applicable to both of them. So it kind of just, and the $800,000 isn't necessarily inclusive of the geotechnical, it's just our conceptual, because what it is we haven't done the geotechnical, so we don't know the extent exactly of how much geotechnical material we need to replace. So essentially,
Okay, so
you
you're
know,
just saying to proceed with the geotechnical at this point would be sufficient?
it will be up to the county, but the first step for either of these options would be to do the geotechnical.
Okay.
So you're leaning more towards option one?
I think so.
May I?
That's a very big motion.
May I?
Go ahead, Glenn.
I would be more lenient just to do the geotechnical, because if we find out that that hillside is, if that's a landslide that's moving, then it just takes all options off the table. Then it's gonna be a lot more work. You know, once we get that data, then we can move forward with what are we gonna do, then options after that. But why not just get the geotechnical report done so we know, is the slope stable, is it not stable?
I agree with you. I hope that when the gentlemen speaking to us today get geotechnical data back, that they would share it with Public Works and they would pass that on to us. My hope is that we could get some work started and they could make preparations in order to do the repair, get the abutment. And so what I'm just trying to do is just expedite the process a little bit. I guess if the geotech comes back and it's very bad information, I mean, it's very bad results, and I know that we can do something. But if it is, then we can apply the brakes. But I don't see that. I don't foresee that happening, honestly. They put the bridge in 1963 without any geotechnical. It went 63 years without any issue. And we just know the nature of the Mode S. It's always moving. I mean.
All right, so what are we doing? Are we doing number one geotechnical or number one with geotechnical and?
Okay, so we're still in the process of crafting a motion.
Yeah.
So I would hope that we'd lean into option one. So I would make a motion that sounds something like move the direct administration to proceed with option one as outlined in the Brazeau County agenda package, page 155. That's what my motion would sound like if I were to make that motion. Is that okay, crew?
It's a start. Aria.
So just in option one there, the last little paragraph, the conceptual estimated construction cost for option one could approximately be $800,000 with the current available information.
Great.
So that's a bit higher than our 100,000 geotechnical comfortabilities, so.
That's estimated construction.
For option one.
Yeah.
So if we're approving option one,
Yeah, that's the construct. That's the construct of the east side of London.
Say that louder, Dallas.
Yeah, so that would include the construct of the east side abutment. We have $1.2 million allocated for that. right
okay,
now,
so are we approving that
Yes.
as well right now?
That's what I'm
Okay, I
asking
see,
for,
I see.
All right, so you're made that as a motion now?
Well, it's just simple. It's option one, so I guess it'll fly or it won't. So yeah, I'll make that motion. So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Yes. Those opposed? Oh, you're in favor too, Kara? Okay. Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
In favor? Okay, so that's carried unanimous. Rainfall event. It's crazed heather. We have enough rain.
Sound like a broken record today. I was asked to bring forward a rainfall event infrastructure update. So just repeating myself a little bit, but formerly Public Works referred to Brazeau County Emergency Management, and was advised the recent event was referred to as a rainfall event, referring that through Alberta Emergency Management, Environmental Climate Change Canada, and Alberta's River Forecast Centre. Yeah, any new information, Emergency Management Department within Brazeau County will update us if that changes for funding options, but at this time, that's where it falls under. Transportation infrastructure, the rainfall caused localized impacts throughout the county, included road washouts, erosions, overtopping, drainage issues, some culvert failures and blockages, beaver-related drainage concerns are failing at some aging culverts. Crews conducted inspections, implemented closures and traffic controls, cleared debris and drainage channels, restored roads with gravel, and initiated repair work. Some of the permanent repairs were delayed due to wet conditions, and affected locations continue to be monitored. Since writing this report, they've been working over the weekends and some longer days too, and have been catching up on some of these bigger repairs. Gravel roads, prolonged wet conditions made grading difficult. We were unable to grade for a large amount of time, causing some muddy roads and some bad pothole sections. Again, crews continue to address this. They've been running extra machines, extra people, and extra hours to get on top of this from all this rain. 2 bridges sustained significant damage, the 2 we just discussed. In the utilities department, several utilities facilities experienced increased groundwater infiltration and storm water inflow, resulting in elevated wastewater flows and temporary high-level alarms. Existing slope instability also worsened at a couple sites around lagoons with localized erosion and bank sloughing. Systems all remain operational though, and it's all within the budget and operations at this time. Anything larger we'll be bringing forward to interim 2027. And we just continue to monitor and assess the repair mitigation needs. You know, speaking to construction, there was only 6 on-site days in June, so that's just affecting us, right? It's been hard to get work done this year, so we're happy to see some drier weather right now. So it's just a brief overview. I don't know if that covers the request.
Okay. Any questions? Glenn?
Rudy's got his light on, I guess.
Yeah, I just think, Council, it's worth noting that with the event, Ms. Whaley had to direct resources to more emergent items. So those service level activities that we generally undertake, like dust control, road maintenance, and that sort of thing, when you get those calls from residents, I mean, there's no question that we are behind on those things because of the rain event distracting our priority list somewhat.
Glenn?
Thank you. To the Director of Public Works, I didn't have any phone calls about the roads. I think most people understood that it's not good. Whatever was done at Hilltop, I drove through there. It seems like it helped immensely. Otherwise, I never got any phone calls from there either. And I thought that they would have been flooded out had you guys not gotten in there and did what you did, whatever it is you did. I don't think the project's done yet, but I noticed at the Easy Ford Waste Transfer Station, I took the trash there, just where you back into, it's dropped down about 8 inches after that rainfall. So I don't know if there's we've lost some dirt there someplace, but it just noticed it when you're trying to heave the bags over.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was impacted by that rainfall event.
Yeah, and to speak to Hilltop, of course, we were anxious to see that every day of the round to see where that was going, and it's only been the in-house portion completed so far, so their mitigation efforts in-house with maintenance crews helped a lot there, and we still have the capital portion to complete there.
Dallas?
Sorry, I'll be short. Yeah, so moving ahead, I think that the county responded very well to a difficult situation, and thank you for that. I would, however, like to sit down with Public Works at some time and revisit our service delivery model. And I think it would be very beneficial for counselors who are new at this point. And yeah, there are a couple of things that we should probably discuss. A little bit of procurement of assistance for snowfall and for maybe some additional service delivery moving forward might be something for us to talk about. I think is something that we should discuss and look at. So is there something, is council interested in doing that? Service delivery is our number one. That's how we service our residents best. And that can include a variety of, not just Public Works, but so I think it's something that we should look at and perhaps just adjust a little bit in a few areas. Guys up for that?
It's like, when do you go out grading, you know, when you get 4 inches of snow, you know, those types of service delivery, how soon are you gonna respond? As you increase your service delivery, you increase the overall cost too, because you'll be doing more of something.
Or just creating efficiencies.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a priority though right now. I mean, that's up to council, but, you know, later on in the fall, maybe after budget or something?
Yeah, not right now,
Okay.
but later on in the fall. So does council have an appetite for that? I'll bring it back at the next council meeting. I'll formalize it.
Okay.
Is that okay?
May I?
Go ahead, Kara.
Thank you. Question through the chair to administration. I know there was comments just briefly touched on that where we seem to have some erosion and some issues within our lagoon. What is being done to address those? I know this is being called a rain event, and I do say with a slight smile on my face that the rain I think we've been experiencing is quite normal for our area. We just haven't been dealing with the rain in recent years because we've been in a drought. I guess my concern is there what's being done to mitigate the concerns that were raised within the document? And if we were quote unquote to get another rain event, are we stable enough that we're not going to have catastrophic failures in any of our lagoons?
Yeah, to council, we've been working with utilities and consulting with in-house construction and maintenance as well to determine what we could do in-house for these slides, what's urgent, what's needs to be addressed right now, what may be larger and need to come to interim budget. So they've already identified a couple that maintenance could help with and do some in-house fixes. Some larger questions, they're reaching out to other municipalities, seeing what they're doing. They're reaching out to the experts and just finding solutions to bring forward to budget. So that's a very broad overview, but there's a few different slides, and some are more minor, which we get addressed in-house, and some are a larger issue, which we'll be talking about in interim budget.
Okay. I think we should take a break. Half an hour. Is that okay for staff? I couldn't hear her.
Receive for information.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, so I'll move to receive the Public Works report for information.
Discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay. Ready? Okay, I'll call the meeting back to order. We've got a proposed development permit, northwest of 12497, page 160 to 197. Take it away.
Thank you. Development permit application 2060-049, located on pages 160 through 197 of the agenda, has been submitted to allow the continued operation of natural resource processing on the lands legally described as Northwest 12497 west of the 5th Meridian, within the area defined as Cell A. The subject lands are located east of the town of Drayton Valley and are immediately west of Range Road 71 and north of Township 491. The parcel is 148.5 acres, with Cell A being approximately 31 acres. This is shown on the land location map on page 179. The subject lands are zoned at direct control under bylaw 93818, which is attached in Appendix A. And the lands are split into 4 separate cell areas, A through D. Natural resource processing is a discretionary use in Cell A within the direct control zone and requires council approval. Currently, the gravel extraction operation located in the northwest corner of the property, referred to as Cell B, is finished and in the process of being reclaimed under the supervision of the province. The processing, stockpiling, and sale of the extracted gravel is located on the southern portion of the property, referred to as Cell A. These operations are currently approved under Development Permit 21D-032, which is due for renewal. The application was circulated for review and comments to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners. External comments were received from Fortis Alberta, TELUS, and Buck Mountain Gas Co-op, which identified that they had no concerns or objections. Alberta Energy Regulator provided a list and map of sour wells and pipelines within the quarter section. However, the setbacks do not impact the activities in Cell A. Pembina Pipeline Corporation did not express any concerns or objections to the operations, but provided a safety brochure which administration has shared with the applicants. After today's agenda was prepared, we did receive a response from Alberta Transportation on Economic Corridors. Within that response is a requirement that the applicant owner update the traffic impact assessment to be submitted along with the roadside development permit application. We have in the recommended conditions of approval, condition number 8, which requires that the applicant landowner obtain any necessary approvals from the province for development and operation within a proximity of a highway. And I have received communication from the applicant that he's been in contact with Alberta Transportation to discuss with them the requirement for the traffic impact assessment, given that what's happening now is just the removal of the last of the already extracted gravel. So I believe that they're maybe willing to rely on the previously provided traffic impact assessment as opposed to relying on something new, because this operation will only be ongoing for the next potentially few months or a year. So that's, I believe, our condition that we've got referenced in the Appendix H is appropriate. In terms of our internal department responses, we did hear from Public Works and Agricultural Services, which advised that they had no concerns or requirements. Community Services advised that given the past history of this operation, that we haven't received any complaints, and that it's not in close proximity to any residential properties, that they have no concerns. No adjacent landowners letters were received in response to our circulation. And the proposed development has been evaluated and is consistent with the principles of our municipal development plan as well as the land use bylaw. That is reflected in Appendix A on pages 163 through 177. So it is the recommendation that application for development permit 26D-049 for the continued operation of natural resource processing on the lands legally described as Northwest 1249-7, west of the 5th Meridian, within the area defined as Cell A, be approved subject to the listed conditions on Appendix H on pages 192 through 197. As a note, I did speak with the landowner and he has reviewed the condition and had no concerns, but he is unable to be here today. Thank you.
I just have a question. On that map or the overhead drawing of the site location, what is that really irregular piece that's cut out of that quarter? What is that?
Oh, it's a lease road and some lease sites that are just incorporated into that property and have been titled out.
Oh, okay. I've just never seen that before.
No.
It's just kind of odd.
It's unusual.
Thank you. It wasn't just my imagination. Thank you.
I move that Brazeau County Council approve development permit 26D049, proposing SLA natural resource processing on Northwest 12497 west of the 5th Meridian, be approved subject to the conditions listed in Appendix H.
How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Agriculture Services.
Good afternoon, Reeve Council. I am here to present an RFD on an annual, or on a producer appreciation event for 2026 on behalf of the Agricultural Service Board. At their last meeting, they passed a motion to direct administration to request $10,000 for a 2026 producer appreciation event. There is a secondary part of that motion for an annual ask for this event, but that will be addressed later on through the budget process. So I'm here to request an addition of $10,000 to the Ag Service operating budget for a 2026 producer appreciation event from the general operating reserve.
Shane?
I can speak on this as well a little bit. We've seen a huge intake of individuals come for the co-done appreciation dinner between Alice and the Ag Board last year, and we felt that that was a great way of recognizing the amazing work that our agriculture does, our agricultural producers do in this area. So going forward, we were hoping to do an event every year. This year, we just want to get the ball rolling, and then that's not necessarily going to be just a dinner. We were thinking there could be breakfasts, like a pancake breakfast one year, a dinner one year. Just a good way for us to connect with our agriculture community and show appreciation for what they do all year for us. So.
Okay. Any other comments? Carol?
Just a couple quick questions, just to confirm. So, we do the Farm Family of the Year Award recognition throughout the county. Is that a regular, an annual piece, or do we have a period of time when that you have done it?
We no longer do that. There is the Northern Farm Family Award, but that is administered through a separate organization, not through Brazeau County. So this was, and there was a discussion on this, and it was felt that recognizing all of the farmers in our area was a better way of doing what we did with Brazeau County than recognizing specific farm families, as somebody else is handling that portion.
Okay, thank you. I do have another question. I know that after attending the ASB summer tour this last week, that was an awesome way to showcase our community and our farming. I'm just wondering if that's something that might be coming towards ASB to discuss in regards to maybe hosting. I know that we were going to plan on hosting in Brazeau County in 2019. Would that not come out of this budget as well if we were to do something along that line?
Through the chair to Councillor Volk, for a ASB summer tour of that scale, it would fall under the Ag Services budget, but it would definitely have to be a larger proposal for an approved budget because of the dollars associated with it.
Glenn?
Thank you. Through the chair. Is a consideration to go to different halls then at least, like rather than just go to the Brenton Community Center all the time?
Through the chair to Councillor Gunderson, yes, that was one of the discussions, was to vary kind of the region of the county that we host in.
Okay, thank you.
Carol?
If I may, just one more question in regards to, just going off of what Councillor Gunderson mentioned. The invite list would be open to the community at large, is that correct?
I do believe so. That's how it was last year. That would be up to the direction of the Agricultural Service Board, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What do you want to do with this? Shane?
I move that council approve the addition of $10,000 to the Agriculture Service operating budget for a 2026 producer appreciation event from the general operating reserves.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Carol? Oh, sorry, Kara, not Carol. Kara?
In favor.
In favor? Those opposed? Carol's opposed, okay, noted.
Thank you.
Okay, Yellowhead Regional Library, levy increase. Who's on Yellowhead? Are you speaking to this? Okay, go ahead, Lee.
Just that, actually, when we've had the increases in the past, we've just usually dealt with it through the budget process, but they're doing it a little differently this year. So we get charged on a per capita funding. So they're looking at going from $485 per capita to $560. If you look on the next page, in 2026, it would have been $34,818. And then for 2027, with this increase, it would increase it to $40,202. So what they're doing is they're asking members just to get some feedback, and then they're going to decide whether they're going to do that increase. So they're just looking for, see what everyone thinks about it.
Kara, I'm losing my marbles, are you?
Okay, so if anyone has any questions about this, I can try to answer them. Why an increase? So the library systems are just, they're doing more with less. So the municipal funding was frozen for 11 years. So this doesn't really gain anything new. It's just literally to keep operating costs functioning, and that's the bottom line. So they've been dipping into reserves, and it's just not sustainable anymore.
Carol?
Just to the chair, to Councillor Harris, can you tell me if we increase if we increase this, or we approve this increase, will that be effective for 2026 immediately, or will that go into the 2027?
2027.
Okay, thank you.
So I can tell you also, this has been brought forward to every municipality that is through the YRL. There was only one councillor that opposed so far, so take that into consideration if you want to oppose.
One councillor or
One councillor in Beaumont. So not council, just one person. But other than that, across the board, it's been approved.
Dan?
I guess if everyone can take a look at page, and I can't tell what the page number is. It's page 11 on the report, but Yellowhead Regional Library is one of the lowest right now for the levy, $485. The highest is $9.99 out of Parkland Regional Library. So they've been, I know that they've been just eating up their reserves, just trying to keep things going. And they've hit the wall, so that's why they're asking for this increase. And it's not a big increase. What's going to affect us is the census. Once we get our numbers in, that's what, right now we're pretty low, we're a lot lower. We're paying not very much for the amount of people we have in this county. If we actually had to pay what we have for numbers, it'd be a lot more. I suspect once we get our census numbers in, we'll be paying more, right? That budget will have to change, but I'm very much in favor of this.
Can I just add one more comment? I looked at the operating budget because I was just making sure what we had in there, but we'd sort of been doing a increase, COLA, And we, actually, this year, we already had over like $40,000 budgeted for 2026. So if you take the COLA amounts, it's due. So.
Okay, we need a motion then. Carol?
I move that Brazeau County Council amend Schedule C of the Yellowhead Regional Library Master Membership Agreement to allow for the municipal levy increase from $4.84 per capita to $5.60 per capita effective January 1st, 2027.
All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Community event grant application for Pink and Pearl Gala.
Yeah, page 246. So the All Our Daughters Recovery Center submitted a grant application, attachment 1, requesting $1,000 for their upcoming event. It's on October 17th, 2026. All Daughters Recovery Center is an addiction treatment program in Drayton Valley focused on supporting women in their recovery. Pink and Pearl Gala will feature a dinner, silent auction, raffles, local prepared food, drinks, ending with a giveaway of a Pearl cocktail ring. The event will act as a fundraiser to support future operations. As you know, administration can make requests, approve requests up to $1,000. This is the first application made by this center in 2026. However, the budget is requesting a profit, and the financials are protected under FOIP, but they don't, I can confirm they don't trigger the 30% ineligibility clause within the policy. It's not, of course, accessible to all public. It's targeted for female demographic. In the past, council has supported similar events such as the Black and White Diamond Gala, the DB 100, as recognition was made to the benefit of the event and the organization as to the broader community. So administration would recommend 1,000, but
I drove by there. It doesn't look like there's anybody in the facility at all. Pardon me? That's the point?
No, they haven't taken. Can I chime in?
Yeah.
They haven't taken in anybody yet. They have a lot of people on the waiting list, but they're still waiting for the final go-ahead from the province to get going. So they're trying to raise funds, and this is part of it to show the province that they're sustainable so that they can get that permit going. But they definitely have people wanting and calling to come in. They just, there's nobody in there right now. So it's just, they're on hold right now.
That's why I was curious, because I didn't see any action at all. Carol?
They have done numerous renovations on the inside of the building, Reeve, that are not noticeable from the outside. So it is prepared. I believe that they're just waiting, like I said, like Councillor Gunderson said, for their approvals through the regulatory channels in regards to how they're handling that. So once they get that approval, they're good to go.
Okay, so is there a motion on the floor right now?
I'll make one. I move the Brazeau County Council approve an event grant for $1,000 to the All Our Daughters Recovery Center for their Pink and Pearl Gala on October 17th, 2026 from 02-74-00-771, pending the receipt of proof of insurance.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, carried unanimous. Okay, community grant application for Grandmother Turtle
Yep.
Turtle Cultural Camp.
yeah, page 257. I do apologize. We have a typo there. It should, a grant for 1,000 is what they're applying for, not 5,000. Yeah, so they're looking for a request for this cultural camp in the Kootenay Plains, organized by Grandmother Turtle Lodge Society. The camp is an opportunity to connect with the land, learn from elders, participate in cultural activities, enjoy daily feasts, spend time with the community. Again, administration can approve up to 1,000, but and this application is the first in 2026. However, it is hosted outside of our boundaries, which is what is which we have in our policy, like it should be in our boundaries. And the organization's financials are protected under FOIP. And I can confirm they do not trigger the 30% net eligibility clause. Additionally, the event is not readily accessible to the public as requires registration and has limited space. But if council so wishes, at its discretion, Brazeau County retains the right to refuse any request or make exception should the request not meet all the policy criteria, but is deemed worthy. Alternatively, council could use we have a cultural grant for Fin 7, which is up to $500. It could be put under that. And I did contact Clearwater County just to see what they were doing, because it seemed more applicable, but they didn't make an application under Clearwater County. And I just phoned again this morning just to confirm that. And yeah, our financials show we allocate $20,000 for events, and we've got $14,000 remaining, less any events that we have approved today.
How many other things do we fund outside of the county boundaries?
Yeah.
Except for, I was thinking at Warburg and things like that we've not usually done that.
Right.
May I?
Go ahead, Kara.
Thank you. I move to receive for information.
I couldn't hear you, Kara.
I move to receive for information.
Okay, thank you. Discussion?
Yep.
Go ahead, Donna.
Any attenders from Brazeau County that we're aware of?
There was an email, I believe it went to administration. It was from Matthew Gersell. So I believe he lives in Rocky Mountain House, but that's how we got it initially. So I don't think Matthew Gersell is from this community. I don't know the name.
Yeah, I think we should stay on our boundaries, as Kara is suggesting. Dallas,
No, I agree.
you agree?
I do.
Okay, all those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous.
Should I take this one away? It's another Fin 7, so it's the Small Town Big Life Foundation. Sorry, on page 264, if you're with me there. So they submitted a grant application, attachment 1. They're actually requesting $10,000 for the upcoming Small Town Big Life Street Party on August 21st. They're also requesting council volunteer for the drink station, 4:30 to 8:30 for the event. The street party is designed to bring people together in a positive, engaging atmosphere, building social cohesion and civic pride while promoting the region economic and culturally. Again, the administration can approve up to 1,000, so this is above the 1,000, plus this is their second application for 2026. Plus, this one exceeds. Last year, council did approve $5,000, and this year looking at 10,000. And I need to point out that at doing this report for council, they hadn't done the report for last year, but I can confirm it's completed now. They did the report, so.
Aria?
Through the chair to Lee, what was the other thing that we approved for this year?
It was still the Small Town Big, but it was one done June 19th, Small Town Big Party, $1,000.
$1,000. And we generally only give organizations one Fin 7 grant per year?
No, it's, administration can approve up to one per year.
Okay.
If it's more than the second one, even if it's below the 1,000, like, it's normally administration could approve.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's the second one this year.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
And they're asking for 5,000.
Yeah, currently we have 14,000 in there so far. And then you've just approved the Pink and Pearl Gala, 1,000. So there's 13. Oh, yeah, 13 left right now.
Carol?
Just to confirm those numbers, Lee, you said with the commitments we've just made today, we're sitting at about 13, so if we did that other 5, that would leave us at 8,000 for the remainder of 2026, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Glenn?
Thank you. Through the chair to Lee. Last year, we gave them just $5,000 for this same event.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree that that would be more appetizing than 10,000 for sure. I do realize that the attendance is 4,500 people. It's a great event. The food is free for everyone to come. The kids have all sorts of things to do. There's bouncy castles, there's street performers, there's chalk on the sidewalks, a lot of handouts. So I see a real value on this for the community. So yeah, I'm ready to make a motion after everyone else has questions.
Aria?
I'd be more comfortable giving the 1,000 just to keep it square, like keep it even. For other organizations that come to us for this Fin7 grant, with it says maximum amount 1,000 right beside the request. I don't disagree that it's a great event that's put on. I believe that the food is donated from the businesses that attend. Oh, they do? Okay. But yeah, that's where I stand. I would be comfortable with giving them the $1,000.
Glenn?
I move the Brazeau County Council approve an event grant for $5,000 to the Small Town Big Life Foundation for the street party on August 21st, 2026 from 0274-00771, pending proof of insurance and receipt of event grant report from the prior event.
Any discussion?
Sure, why not?
Dallas?
As we'll chime in. Yeah, the event is growing, so, and a lot of our country people come in and enjoy, take advantage of the hospitality. So it's a good event, and I think it's well worth a while.
Okay. Aria?
I will just point out too that this organization does trigger the 30% ineligibility clause for financials.
So many rules. All right. All those in favor? Those opposed? Oh, Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Those opposed? 2 opposed. Carolyn, Aria. Okay, corporate services, Colin?
Good afternoon, Council. On page 272 of your agenda, you'll find the bank reconciliation as of May 31st, 2026. If Council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I would request it as received for information.
Anybody want to approve the bank reconciliation? Carol?
If I may just ask a quick question. Under the bank statement balance on the second half, there's $785,640.39 in checks issued. Are those just outstanding checks that haven't cleared the bank?
That is correct. The main items are same on the above, the 408,000 on the deposit side of things, just timing differences due to end-of-month deposits and checks issued.
Okay. And if I might just ask one quick question, have we paid the Brazeau Foundation their?
Through the chair to Councillor Volk, I can confirm that, yes, this was done in the last 2 weeks while I was out on holidays there. So
Awesome,
we did
thank you very
receive
much.
it.
They'll be asking me on Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion, if I may. I'm prepared. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Brazeau County Bank reconciliation as of May 31st, 2026 as presented.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Calgary General Matters, Calgary Stampede debrief. Just for a quick comment, I would suggest that it was a little more political this time than the last time. There was a big lineup so you can get your picture taken with the MLAs and MPs and, or not the MPs, but the MLAs. I did get a chance to talk to Doug Ford. He's quite an interesting fellow, and it wasn't just a quick, hi, how are you? He gave me about 10 minutes of his time, which is quite interesting fellow. He reminds me of Ralph Klein and just his demeanor on how he is. Anybody else want to comment? Go ahead, Glenn.
So at the Canadian Strategy Group rooftop ranch party, I did get to meet somebody who I've followed on social media for a very long time. It's somebody that Brazeau County has tried to lure into our county to open up a shop. His name was Chance Barber, and he owns Edison Motors. So it's not too often that you get a chance to have a conversation with somebody like that. It's just, so it was a real treat to be able to attend that event. And we did get a picture with one of the founders of Canadian Strategy Group and made that known. They had a great event. So very appreciative to that. They would actually invite all of council. When you looked at the board of all the people with the name tags coming to that event, it's just stunning what they can bring in. So it's a fantastic event.
Carol?
I just did a little tiny bit of a write-up here. I just want to note that the previous council had passed that motion for council's attendance to Stampede prior to my first term. And I did have my reservations about the value of the attendance at the event. And to avoid costly accommodations, the rooms were booked well in advance of Stampede so that we could get the best discount we could without knowing the knowledge of the schedule of events going into that week. That said, I agreed to reservations for 2 nights in Calgary on the Sunday and Monday evenings. Once the schedule started to present itself, I altered my stay to just 1 evening as I looked to see whether there was value or whether I thought there was value in some of the other events. To keep costs to a minimum while making the best use of my time. Councillor Gunderson and myself carpooled together down there. We left Sunday morning and returned home Monday late afternoon, just staying the 1 evening. I attended the Canadian Strategy Group Rooftop Ranch event from 2 to 5 on the evening of the 5th, where I was fortunate to have a minute or two with the Premier, which is not very, it's not an opportunity you get. It was a very short window, but I was able to express our concerns over the increasing pressures on infrastructure, mainly bridges and Highway 621, that we are experiencing in Brazeau County. I also had the opportunity to sit with our federal MP, Dane Lloyd, for a lengthy conversation about the needs of our community at a federal level. We then proceeded to the next event, which is the Transportation and Economic Corridors Minister Devin Dreeshen's Stampede reception from 6 till 9. Although I was unable to speak directly to Minister Dreeshen, as he was a very, very busy man, the evening was spent building relationships with other ministers, MLAs, and MPs. The next morning, we attended the Premier's breakfast, where I connected with our very own MLA, Minister Andrew Butchenko, who is also a hard individual to track down, but had an opportunity to speak with him. It was an ideal opportunity to focus on some direct questions in regards to the timelines on the Highway 621 widening announcement, while still networking and building some relationships. I believe my time was well spent and carried value to the county. It would be my recommendation to support council's attendance in the future, however, with some much needed boundaries on the length of stay.
Anybody else? Aria?
Yeah, I'll comment. I stayed for the Monday night and attended the same events that Glenn and Carol did as well. So the CSG strategy, or the Canadian Strategy Group event, that one was huge, I think, for networking for me personally. I felt like that was even better than the Dreeshen event. I know there was lots of people at the Dreeshen event, but it didn't seem like certain people were as accessible at that event as the rooftop one. It was a very casual setting. We got lots of opportunities to talk to ministers and, like what Glenn said, one of the founders of CSG, which was awesome. We talked to other municipalities, we talked to the mayor of Spruce Grove. We sat with him for a while. That was really beneficial. Yeah, so I thought it was well worth it too. For that 24 hours that we were there, we packed a lot of networking and camaraderie in, so worth it for the day for sure, at least for me.
Okay, thanks. Shane?
So I attended some of the same things. I was there a little longer, so we went to a little bit more things. I do believe that going to an event like this has a lot of potential for us for advocacy work. It's just ensuring that we're getting into the right events to do that. I was quite disappointed Minister Sawyer had an agricultural event that unfortunately I missed out on. So things like that I would like to make sure that I attend next year, because advocacy was amazing there. I would almost say there was as much bang for your buck as we have with RMA in terms of meetings with ministers. I did end up having dinner with our minister, Minister Bachenko, which was amazing. We had a very good conversation. I did also have a probably 10-minute conversation with Minister Dreeshen as well. So as well as on the rooftop, lots of people talked to. I did also end up talking to the founder of Edison Motors. Unfortunately, my wife's phone died. He did want to go scootering with us later, but I didn't end up getting to do that. We did have a small farm emergency, and I did end up having to leave and come back. Thankfully, I made it back. I left the evening, made it home, and made it back for the Canadian Strategies rooftop. So that was all within 12 hours. So we had a very busy couple days there. I believe that was probably some of the best bang for our buck in terms of getting what we need out there with our ministers and our provincial and federal government. As well as some of the events, I had many conversations with industry leaders that showed me the path forward in terms of what the future brings for us. And then a lot of the conversations we had there have evolved into some of these big announcements from the provincial government. So good all around. I can see good value in that, as long as it's a more structured, I think, approach for next year. So.
Okay. You guys are all good? All right, a motion to receive that for information?
I'll move to receive the update Calgary Stampede for information.
Discussion, all those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, councillor reports. Are these
I
you
have.
want? Go
I
ahead.
have.
Oh, the Alberta Health Services?
12B and C, my things.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, yeah, I had added two things between, for 12B and 12C.
okay.
12B being gravel transportation corridors, for lack of a better term, and then as well as a letter from a ratepayer that asked me to read it, and I believe there's some good to come from that, so. With that, I guess I'll take it away. For our gravel truck, gravel haul transportation routes, I've fielded several I would say probably a phone call a day about gravel truck transportation in the county. We are seeing a massive increase in volume of traffic. We're also seeing a massive increase in just, we've made policies in order to make it more livable for the people in these areas. And then things seem to just push itself down the road, literally. So at one point, the gravel trucks were not allowed, the gravel trucks weren't allowed to haul from a certain time to a certain time. They had to wait on the road, so they would wait on the gravel road. Well, that caused congestion, so then they had to pull back. So then they waited on the next road and the next road and the next road. I've had 3 separate people, not related, send me pictures of gravel trucks sitting at the the corner of 759 and 39 up to where our county lot is there, sometimes past it. So now we've just moved it down. And at one point, I remember them sitting at the intersection on Highway 39 and the Range Road 65 there as well. So the amount of truck traffic is increasing. You know, we all say, you know, we live by gravel pits. There has to be some expectation, and everybody that I've talked to agrees that, you know, we're not against industry. We just need to be able to work better together for it. In terms of this as well, with the new changes that have come up from the provincial government in terms of how these are approved, I think it would be prudent to possibly look at a gravel truck transportation master plan. So how these gravel trucks need to move through our communities to lessen the impact on our infrastructure as well as the residents. I don't want anything to come of this right now. I just wanted it that this is something we need to consider going forward. You know, we try and get ahead of these things so that we aren't caught with our pants down. You know, we're looking at data centers and how we fit those into our community. I think, you know, we're the next stop on the gravel pit road to transport to Edmonton, and they're only going to be asking for more. So I think we need to be proactive in how we do that, because our infrastructure is going to suffer because of this. And as we can see, it's hard enough to get funding from the province. So that was just food for thought for us for in the future, that I think this is something we're going to need to look into deeply. So that would be just for that. And then for C, I will read my letter for you. Oh,
Can we have
oh,
a
do you want to talk about that one?
Go ahead. Thank you, Chair. So we've had a constant issue with the gravel trucks parking on the highway. It's really bad in the wintertime because it's dark, and they always come in the morning, and they line up, and it's hard to see them. And so, yeah, I would agree that we need to do something, maybe purchase a piece of land and make a big parking lot so they can all come, because obviously telling them just to come, you know, 5 minutes after the road's open isn't working. They don't seem to understand. They want to be there first. There must be some advantage for them to stack up and be first in line to that facility. But so yeah, this has been going on as long as I've been on council. These calls have been, it's been a serious issue. So we've got lots of letters on it, and we're just not getting any further with it. But maybe we need to look, as part of that master plan, is to purchase a quarter of land or some acres along the road from somebody and build a parking lot. If we want to have this industry here, then we need to have somewhere for them to park. Because, yeah, there doesn't seem to be any other options for us to consider.
Shane?
I like that. It also is, and that was the other thing too, is that there seems to be a lot of unsafe trucks on the road right now, and maybe that could be something that would go along with that. I don't know. But that's a great, I love that. Thank you. I didn't even consider that.
You can't just widen the road there so that you got like a parking line?
The issue is that they're just gonna, if they can park anywhere, they're just gonna park there. And we can tell them, you know, you have to stay in this line or you have to stay there, but it seems like we've been doing that already. If it goes, you have to go to this parking lot, and if you're outside of that, there's consequences. I don't know what those are, but yeah, we've tried to be the nice way.
No, I'm just talking about making a parking line on the road, so all you have to do is do a bit of a widening, enough for a whole truck to be parked on, let's say, the right-hand side, and then they just line them all up. So instead of buying a big chunk of land, you do a road widening, where you might have to buy an extra 17 feet along a road strip. So it's similar to you buying a quarter, but you do it on a strip so that they can pull in and head out. Kara, did you have something to say?
Yeah, just a comment. Why are we bothering to do anything? They just need to follow the rules. I'm not at all in favor of spending any money on this. They just need to just follow the rules that we ask them to and hold them accountable for doing so. I'm very strongly opposed to spending money buying parking lots or doing anything with the road. And I would question what value it brings to the community. I think the particular area that we're concerned about, we know for a fact that that gravel is hauled directly out of this community, and it goes directly into the city. And honestly, the amount of tax money that they bring in is minimal, as well as I'm not even sure if they're paying the gravel levy that they're supposed to be paying. I understand that that piece is voluntary, but yeah, anyways, I'll just leave it there.
Shane, then Kara.
Or do you have something on the gravel pits?
Just give me a moment.
Okay, yeah, you go.
Is there some place that through our CPO that we could increase the level of participation in monitoring those gravel trucks parking on the side of the road? And obviously, they're not supposed to be, so.
I did have a conversation, but it hasn't gone anywhere, but I think that would be another thing, would be to talk with our CPOs about more enforcement, as well as, there was a lot to talk on the enforcement side of things as well, and I think that's something that in the short term I would like to look at. But I think a little bit more work needs to be done on that, to really narrow down what the problem is, as opposed to just a shotgun approach.
I'm just thinking, surely we can't be the only municipality that deals with this issue, so maybe some conversations with neighboring other municipalities in similar situations and what they are doing might be helpful.
I agree. At Elsike, at the corner there, there's only 2.5 acres there, and a lot of people used to park there. It's enough space to do some stuff, to park some trucks. Or you see at the Teddy Bear restaurant, of course, you don't want to be parking trucks there. That's private property, but you can see it only takes 3 to 4 acres. It doesn't take a full quarter section, and you can create some significant space. The province has been a little bit heavy-handed now with their natural resource extraction and how they're planning on approaching that. Maybe they would help us, assist us in that matter, because it's just as much in their interest as it is in ours. The world needs gravel. We need it too. The city needs it. Everybody needs it. We all got to share it. It's just the reality of our situation. Can't stop gravel extraction.
And I would say this, I am not in favor wholeheartedly of us funding something like this. I think that the provincial government, if they are determined to have these things happen, we're more than happy to assist them with that, but I think they should be the ones to help foot this bill, if that's what it comes down to. Like, if we have to make it safer, this is infrastructure needs mostly on their roadways. So they should be the ones helping us with this. We don't got the money, we got too many bridges to fix. For right now, I didn't want to bring anything forward for this right now. I just wanted it out there for you guys to think about and come up with some ideas. And then for the next council meeting, I might have something to bring forward. This was just I told the residents that I called that I did want to bring this up, but this isn't something I want to rush into trying to fix. I would rather take a measured approach to this one. We could, you know what? In terms of gravel truck. You know what? I agree with Councilor Gunderson. So I will make a motion, move to direct administration to have Public Works come back with a report on gravel truck traffic. Sorry? No, I need better wording, so if you have it, please help me.
I think the direction would be to the CPOs, not to Public Works.
Okay, yeah, so it would be, I guess, would it be through administration, though? Direct administration to discuss with CPOs the gravel truck traffic and, I think that, gravel truck traffic. Yeah? And bring a report back, yes, that would be awesome as well. Not just make up the numbers, please.
Okay, all those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Well, that one went farther than I thought. I guess on to my next thing. Tim is an awesome guy. I had about a 3-hour conversation with him when I ran, and I've stayed in touch with him. He's a very down-to-earth, reasonable person. He talked with me quickly at Canada Day, and he sent me this letter. He asked me to read it. He says, "Hello, Councillor Blosky. This email is a follow-up to our conversation we had on Canada Day regarding dust suppression on the roads leading to Sardine Lake. I reside on that road. In the beginning of May, I visited the county office and paid to have the allowance along my driveway to be treated with dust suppression. In July and August, the traffic to the lake is very heavy and the dust unbearable. Firstly, I understand that there is a rotation order determining which places get treated first. It goes from one end of the county to the other, and the next year the opposite. I find this to be unacceptable and that the traffic to the lake slows down considerably in September. If the road does not get sprayed until late season, what is the point? Secondly, that road leads to a provincially managed lake. The only reason that road is traveled is for anglers going to the lake. There is no through traffic or other destinations. Why doesn't the province or county pay for dust mitigation on the roads? As a private citizen, I question why I have to fund the dust control along that road. I would kindly ask that the county consider funding the dust suppression along that stretch of road, past my yard and continuing to my lake, or to the lake. Please take both issues into consideration. I look forward to continuing this discussion and a positive outcome." With that, I did have a long conversation with him. You know, we're not here to, you know, it's part of living in the county. There's dust on your roads. That being said, I did think about it. And, you know, there isn't a whole lot of areas where we do encourage people to go, but there are some. So we have campgrounds, we have natural areas, we have lakes, and at certain times of the year, those increase, the traffic increases dramatically. Now, of course, everybody, when they move to a place, there is some, you know, we live in the country, there's dust. But I think if we are encouraging individuals to go to certain areas, we should also be responsible. You know, we expect oil companies to do the same thing if they have a site that we go to a lot. You know, the expectation from the residents is that the oil companies help pay for that dust suppression. So what I was hoping to have come from this is maybe us look at that. So with that, I would like to make a motion, and then we can beat it out. But I would move that council direct administration to develop a policy or prioritization framework that gives priority to dust suppressions on county gravel roads, providing access to public recreation areas, parks, campgrounds, boat launches, and other public access destinations subject to available budget and operational considerations. Yes, I do.
Dallas?
Holy smokes, that's quite the motion. That's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about service delivery. This is one key component for us that we should create some efficiencies in. I believe that we can hire some contractors to help us up early in the season so that we are not so burdened with dealing with this stuff rather than routine maintenance and infrastructure issues that we deal with on a regular basis. So that's what I'm trying to hope that we can do. We can do a workshop. We can break this down, unfold all these pieces of service delivery, and that is a key component of that. So that's what I was getting at. I like the motion. I hope that we can incorporate it into a greater conversation so that we can have a larger outcome. It costs more for service delivery. That's okay. It's our number one. Or we can create some efficiencies in that regard. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Any other thoughts? Aria?
I like the motion as well. I'm all for delving into policy, whether we have one and we just need to dissect it and move things around a little bit, or if we need to develop a new one, that works for me because, yeah, sometimes status quo just doesn't work anymore, and yeah, I think it's good.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Yeah, okay.
Would you just read that again, just for the first time I heard it?
Move that I turn my mic on. Move that council direct administration to develop a policy or prioritization framework that gives priority to dust suppression on county gravel roads, providing access to public recreation areas, parks, campgrounds, boat launches, and other public access destinations subject to available budget and operational considerations. So the intent of it is to just maybe bring back something that might work, or if it fits in a framework we already have.
Glenn?
So we have a dust control policy, Public Works, or PW3, do you just want to have them bring that policy back for some touch-ups?
I would think I would hope to have maybe an addition to it, or something that would, or maybe they can bring it back with amendments. Whatever administration thinks is the best fit for that, I think would be my hope.
All those in favor? You're in favor, Kara? Kara, how do you vote?
Opposed.
Okay, so one opposed, Kara. Okay, you're all done with your additions there? Yeah. Okay, so now we're Alberta Health Services. Those two fellows we met there yesterday, were they part of the 4 general practitioner positions? No? So what's your comments? Aria?
I move that council receive Alberta Health Services letter, hospital services in Drayton Valley for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous.
Chair is in favor.
Kara, how do you vote? Must have been slow transmission.
In favor.
Must have been slow transmission from my microphone to you. All right, so we got another one, Public Safety and Emergency Services.
I can do stuff.
Go ahead.
I move to receive 13B for information.
Yeah, and that was the letter that we sent so that our CPOs aren't being taken away from us and we'd actually be funding a provincially required service. If the province wants to hire a bunch of CPOs, then, no, Carol?
Sorry. I believe the letter's in relationship to the province using our RCMP officers to transport mental health victims to Red Deer and getting stuck at the facility until such time as they have been admitted. And so they can't return, very much like what happens with our ambulances sometimes in the emergency wards. So I think there was a suggestion made that perhaps we could use CPOs to do that instead of our RCMP officers to transport.
Yeah, but we didn't want to be doing a health service. That's why we sent the letter off, is so that we wouldn't be spending the money with our CPOs. If they want to use CPOs, great. They can do that too, but otherwise we're just accepting more downloading.
I agree. Which is okay, because they said they have no intent of doing that, so you're off the hook.
Okay. Motion to receive for information? Carol? No, I made it. Oh, you made it already?
Yes, you did.
Okay, all those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay. Have we missed anything? Just the reports? Need a motion to receive all the reports?
I can do that.
Glenn?
I move to receive the council reports for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, meeting dates.
So the first one in front of council is the annual request from the Minister of Municipal Affairs to meet with him during RMA Fall Convention. As this council is aware, we tend not to be successful in getting that meeting because everybody wants a meeting. And because we're closer to Edmonton, we are the default, one of the default municipalities that they say, well, it's easy for you to meet with me anytime. So we'll grant it to those that are further away. That said, in order to place in that request, they want 3 topics that this council may wish to speak with the minister about, should we have that opportunity. And this is our chance to set those priorities of what we would like to speak about with the minister.
You want to meet, folks? And if we do want to meet, what do you want to talk about? Glenn?
It was about a year and a half ago, I talked to Corey Peebles, and he said that one of the best strategies we could really use is just to invite a minister out for supper. It might cost us $2,500 or something like that, but that's the most bang for your buck. So maybe we should consider, rather than going to the legislature and having that 12-minute meeting where you don't get a lot accomplished, maybe we could have a dinner with one of the ministers instead.
Like in the city when we're there?
When we're in the city. I know that's, talking to Corey, he said that lots of other municipalities were doing this, and to great effect. He, like I said, it's a better bang for your buck than trying to get everybody in a cab and get to the legislature. They're always late, and so you get there and you might get 15 minutes or 16 minutes, and those meetings are not productive at all. I don't think there's any reason to do it, in fact, but a dinner with a minister, way more enticing.
Are you making a motion? That we look at a different strategy? And that's while we're at the RMA function.
Yep. So if I could ask administration, when would the minister like to know by? We pick our 3 topics.
I don't have the letter in front of me. It seems that we do have some time until the end of August to submit our request with our topics.
Yeah, it's just that maybe we should just take a little bit of time. I hadn't spent a lot of time thinking about it other than transportation issues, but maybe we want to just take a little bit of time and then communicate through the Reeve what those topics are and then have administration submit. So we just have a little more back and forth. I don't really necessarily want to table it to the next meeting, but can we just, is that something that we can just do via email and just have a little bit of a discussion? We don't use that.
You can't make decisions on emails.
No, but we can sure communicate well.
Carol?
I would prefer to do that in person, Councillor Ekstrom. Just through an email, it doesn't give you an opportunity to debate kind of and get the feel of what people have behind that. Go ahead, Tina.
Tina's corrected me. The deadline is August 10th, not the end of August. So that's about a month, I guess, a little less than a month.
If I may, if we want to invite him to dinner as opposed to an official meeting, do you think we really need to have topics, or we just go, we'd like to buy you dinner, Minister Williams, and
They usually like to know what you're meeting about so that they can also do their own preparation.
could we agree to have as opposed to a meeting at the legislature, go for dinner, and then could we then discuss the topics later, or do we want to do that all?
You want to be prepared ahead of time, Shane.
Yeah.
You don't want to go there just everybody looking at each other. Aria?
So I think we should probably do both because neither are guaranteed, so they can say no to our request. Yeah, so I think that we should probably get 3 topics put together, put in this request, and also send an invitation to have him join us for dinner and cross our fingers.
I think one of the topics would have to be around the gravel extraction, maybe, because that one kind of blindsided me when I seen the province. I'd like to know more of what their intentions are with it, just so we're not, we're going to be affected by that one because we do have gravel pits in our area.
Carol?
One of the topics that I'd like to talk about with Minister Williams is the downloading of costs onto the municipalities, especially, and what we're going to do with our aging infrastructure across the province. We're all in the same boat. We all have aging bridges, we all have aging infrastructure, and we have less money coming from the province down to the municipality level. So I would like to have a talk with them about how that is looking, what their asset management plan is in regards to municipalities.
Bridges and roads would be under transportation though, right?
Yep, you bet.
Dallas?
Well, a long time burr under my saddle has always been the expropriation process and how the municipalities are left hanging with the entire cost of the process and the time that it takes. We have one on the table now for, close to a decade. Still hasn't gone away. That needs to be fixed. That's a broken spot. I think the minister should be reminded of that. And yeah, been a long time beef for me.
Dallas?
Perhaps the president of the RMA has some suggestions?
Kara? Kara, do you have any suggestions in regards to topics for a meeting with ministers?
With Minister, Bill 28 would be the first one. It would be the big one.
Which one?
Bill 28.
If I may.
Aria?
I don't have any suggestions, so this isn't helpful, but I do think we should try to be strategic in the topics that we do choose, because as much as I'd love to discuss Bill 28 and aging infrastructure, if he sees those, he'll probably throw it in the trash and not even consider. So, like I said, I don't have any suggestions, but I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe sit and brainstorm to try to think of something maybe a bit more, I guess, unique maybe to our municipality that might catch his attention or catch his eye, or I don't know.
Rudy, you got some ideas?
Thank you, Reeve. One of the things that I've been involved with this year, and that's through my volunteer involvement with Local Government Administrators Association, is amalgamations and viability reviews of municipalities. And it seems that we used to have one every 2 years, now, and then we had 2 a year, and now we've got 3 this year. It's not something that's affecting Brazeau County today, but it is something that will affect Brazeau County. It is affecting some municipalities today. And I would have to say, being exposed to this process over the last couple of years, it's not a smooth process, and it does not encourage participation by the counties. And I think that that's something that really needs to be considered. I've spoken to his chief of staff about this, and I think there's better ways to go about this. And Municipal Affairs needs to consider getting on the front end and be more proactive with this process than just reacting. We've seen the situation with communities like Gibbons, et cetera. I think our councillor, who's president of RMA, has asked them, what is your plan when the first county or MD starts to struggle? You know, there's work there that needs to be done to manage our sustainability framework as municipal organizations.
All right, maybe that's enough for now. If you have some other thoughts, bounce them off Rudy. You can always share them, not necessarily vote on them. Okay. Ratification of attendance at the Drayton Valley Medical Clinic, the Malone. So there was, well, everybody was there, wasn't there? Aria, Glenn, Kara. Kara wasn't. Shane, you were there. I was there. Aria, were you there?
Oh, you got it.
Yes, okay. Okay, so Carol,
I'd like to ratify the attendance of the new Drayton Valley Medical Clinic Malone Pharmacy meet and greet from July 20th, 2026 by council members. Move it. I move it,
discussion,
move it.
discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay. Yeah. Closed session. Oh, which one? Oh, the official launch of the Northern Lakes College Mobile Training Lab. September 11th, Drayton Valley Public Works parking lot, okay. Glenn?
I move to authorize council's attendance to the official launch of the Northern Lakes College Mobile Training Lab Trades Truck, September to the 11th, 2026, at the Drayton Valley Public Works parking lot, 1 p.m.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay. All right, closed session.
All right, let's go back into closed.
Pardon me?
Go back into closed?
Yes.
All right, I'll move that Brazeau County Council go in closed. Item 16A, campground contracts, ATIA 19. 16B, intermunicipal collaborative framework discussion, ATIA 26. 16C, brand strategy proposal, ATIA 19. And part 2, 16D, council conduct, ATIA 26 through 30 and 30. I think that's it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Who's coming out? I'll move that Brazeau County Council come out of in-closed session.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Take a 5-minute break.
Will you sign this part so I can take it over to Tina?
Okay, it's been 5 minutes. I'm going to call the meeting back to order. Is there any direction that came out of the enclosed session?
There is, and I like that one. Reed, if you would, I would move to direct administration to share additional information at a subsequent council meeting regarding the council's, or the county's campground operating procedures.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay. Carol?
I'd like to move to receive the ICF discussion for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Shane?
I would like to move to direct sequence to build out our brand marketing strategy focusing on Western Economic Corridor.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
For me?
All right.
Oh, do you want to do it? I move that council hold a special meeting on Friday, July 24th at 9 a.m. in council chambers to finalize council conduct decisions.
Discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay. All right, we just need a motion to adjourn, I believe.
I move adjournment.
Kara got it, thank you. All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.